Hello.
Hello. All right then. Let's do a roll for recap, and we want the number. Does anybody want to volunteer to do it?
Nope.
Cool. We want the number closest to. Why did we even suggest doing the volunteer system? 3, please.
Not me.
Wait, what was the number?
3, my good sir.
Not me
My
either.
ear fell off.
Oh, maybe
13.
me.
16.
Dumb.
Oh my god, is it me?
It is Lilith.
13.
Oh.
So
Okay, wow, okay. Alrighty, I'm gonna go off the top of my head because I don't want to risk messing with the current setup I have. So we started the game going and oh, I got some echo.
I think it's Emma. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Owing Emma as the echo.
we started the game by going in to see the Rat King, which was very eventful. Louis was their lord and savior. It was an interesting experience, to say the least. We were almost served dwarf, but we managed to circumnavigate that situation. And in fact, give them a recipe for free-range sage-infused dwarves, which I think was a good move.
Yeah.
In case they ever have any other dwarves, they will let them run free and they will smell nice. So
It was specifically free range, 20-day aged sage dwarf.
yeah, that was wonderful. We rescued the dwarf. His name is Brolad, I think. He was a worker at the forge. The kobolds, on order from the Rat King, guided us out and through the slurry pipes to go into the forge, where there was a guard who was kind of sympathetic to the kobolds, so he just let us go, like turning a blind eye. We went out with Brolad. Our idea was to go peacefully across the chains to get into the forge. That did not happen. Unfortunately, as we were stealthing up to get to the chains, we left Brolad behind. We just hoped we got Brolad to sign a contract saying he wouldn't betray us, but who knows. As we were going up the chains, everyone got up except Bluey, who almost fell into the lava. So Brian polymorphed Bluey into a bird, but unfortunately that was a trigger enough to wake up some fire giants, 2 of them to be precise. Yes, big boys. And a fire elemental got on the chain as well. So we basically had to fight all these boys. Brian was like, nope, and tried to polymorph everyone except Slya and himself into birds so they could just fly over the situation. Unfortunately, Neff flew right into the fire elemental as a bird, got transformed back into Neff. Then Bluey did the exact same thing, and they got turned back into themselves. Brian really enjoyed that whole situation so much. So Brian and Slya got on their carpets and went up, just like shaking their heads at the situation below. Loran and Saraza actually went over, as they were supposed to, even if they were kind of hanging on the periphery because they were concerned about us. They seemed to know that perhaps if anyone else reverted to their form, Brian would not make it through this sane. So anyway, he tried to polymorph Bluey again. I think it was Bluey. Or was it Neff again?
It was.
He tried to polymorph one of them again.
Yeah.
I think he did try to polymorph Bluey again.
Yes,
and she was just hit.
And immediately turned
before
back.
Before she could fly, I think.
Yeah, immediately turned back. So Brian took a new tactic and gave Bluey the gift of flight. So Bluey could fly away. But not before Bluey was hit with a lot of
many
injuries. In the meantime, the fire giant was trying to aim at Slya and Brian as the only medium-sized creatures in the vicinity. Hit Brian for a lot of damage, hit Slya for a lot of damage. They're looking a bit bloody, but not near death anytime soon, maybe? I mean, if there's a power word kill coming up, maybe. Loran and Saraza are fine, flying around. Brian and Slya also managed to get over. Slya dropped a heal on Bluey to save Bluey's life, but Bluey is looking the worst out of the party. We did manage to get past the fire giants, and now we have arrived at the forge, looking a bit worse for wear.
Indeed, you
that's
have.
what happened.
Yep.
Also, I want to add, you did polymorph both me and Bluey a second time. I didn't get unpolymorphed the
Brian
second time.
Is that gracious.
Neff didn't get unpolymorphed second time, but Bluey did. So Neff is still a bird, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, you're all still birds except Bluey and Slya. I don't know what Cass was doing. We just kind of poofed Cass.
Yes.
Cass can be a bird too if she wants.
She'd probably be just as damaged unless you thought smart and went.
Georgie, you're muted.
We can't hear you, George.
I suppose in like a narrative way, it would make sense if I was made a bird
Okay.
to
And
kind
you
of
could just be a bird. Let's say you hung out with Lorans.
create
It's his
sort of.
friends.
It just flew ahead, got away. It will make. I think
Why
that
does
makes more
Emma
sense
look
than
so
me being on the
impressed?
carpet with
Because
anyone or anything.
sorry, I just saw there's a new 9th level spell for wizards that I hadn't seen before, called Blade of Disaster.
Oh my god.
You create a blade-shaped planar rift about 3 feet long in an unoccupied space you can see within range. The blade lasts for the duration. When you cast a spell, you can make up to 2 melee attacks with the blade, each one against a creature, loose object, or structure within 5 feet of it. On a hit, the target takes 4d12 force damage. This attack scores a critical hit if the number on the d20 is 18 or higher. On a critical hit,
Jesus.
the blade deals an extra 8d12 force damage.
What?
And there's 2 blades! What?
Oh my god, that's
So
powerful.
good! That's a potential 24d12 in 1 round, and that's only an
Someone with luck
action.
feet could.
Oh my god, it's so cool! Loran's getting it eventually if he lives that long. If he lives that long.
Around.
Lorans probably the most likely to live since we're all
This
protecting
is
him.
wood, right? That's wood. That's wood for sure. I'm touching wood.
Touch wood. 24d12 would be
That's
Like-
nuts.
a lot of damage. 24 times 12 is 240...
If you
88?
times it by 6.5,
264 points of damage. Holy shit. As like a max.
Isn't it 288?
288. Yeah. I just got out the calculator.
Oh. Well, my maths was wrong, I guess. Oopsie. I tried.
On
By
average,
a big.
you'd give like 156.
It was by
damage.
22. I wasn't that far off, George. We can just pretend that I'm good at maths.
I also want to say, that sounds really cool, because that's my favorite die. I love the D12.
Yeah, I can tell you use it so
Rarely
often.
used.
In
Yeah.
Tiny Boys, like all the time we're
All the-
rolling d12.
Roll a D12 and another D12 and a D12. Yeah.
D12 is to see what the monster is, isn't it? Or is that the D? Or if we get a monster.
D12 is to decide what the interaction is. There's always 2 numbers out of the D12 that can be an interaction, because in old D&D, I think a D6, one of the sides was going to be like an encounter. So I just roll that twice, and one is like a
I did
positive
that
one, and one is a
in,
bad one.
Yeah, when I was back in Durham, I was in an exploring Chult campaign, and it was if you rolled a D8, you would get roll on a D8. If you roll an 8, you get a random encounter or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so all of you, looking back over your shoulders as you reach the end of the chain, you see the fire giants curl back up, and almost as though soaking in an onsen, just kind of like sink back into the lava. The fire elemental is already dissipated to where you do not know anything that's on fire could hold its form, but the eye of the volcano is still restless as ever. However, you see no adversaries in sight. You have made it to the other end, the foot of the forge. Not unharmed, but at least all alive. What do you do?
I tweet.
Collapse, just like.
Cool. So just so you know, the 2 carpets can pull up alongside each other. The base of the chain is still about 10 feet away from the wall of the forge, forge building itself. There's a small dip in the ground, which seems like it's solid earth, which you could drop onto if you wanted to get off the carpets for whatever reason. If you wanted to break here, there are some small sort of like crevices which appear to be like partially covered, where you could set up camp, or you could take a break,
To
whatever
the
you want to do.
crevice.
To the crevice. Make a perception check or a survival check. Anybody who's looking for somewhere you guys could take a short
23.
rest or a long rest. Okay, perception or survival?
That's perception.
Survival.
Oof.
Perception.
Forget it.
That one. Okay, cool.
Wonderful. Bluey, you point down at the lava and just like, wait, I think there might be something under there. You see Bluey just slowly starts drifting forwards and realise in her
I
like
prepare to kick Louis in the face.
yeah, her injury-addled haze, she is just like absolutely dazed and potentially seeing things in the lava.
Zoe, please don't. Just don't do anything. Just still. Nothing.
Okay.
Tweet, 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 tweet.
Neff, whose shoulder do you land on in your bird form? And Cass, you too. Whose shoulder are you landing on in your bird form?
Brian, because I'm apologetic.
Is
I want
landing on Brian's.
to tweet my sorries
Sure.
in 140 characters now.
Brian's just surrounded by
But
birds.
if-
and he's like,
Oh, I need to... Actually, yes, that's a very good point. I wrote this
You're
in my
living your
notes.
Disney princess moment, Brian.
yeah. He
Um,
put the pixies in his breastplate, by the way, under the armor. if you're gonna
Brian.
put that.
I need you to have all the pixies roll Constitution saving throws, please. I should have made you do this during the fight, but
Every single one.
every single one. Yes. As you begin, as they
I got 2 19s just flat off the dice for those. So 2 of the pixies, I'm assuming are okay. The
but it's a
other
damage.
one, the
It's
pixies.
a damage situation, so they'll take half of the damage. Half of the damage.
Why are they taking damage?
It's the heat exhaustion. You guys are okay because you have the braces,
Okay.
so it is going to be.
Where is
They don't take
my-
any exhaustion though. The ones who succeed,
Ooh, a.
they take 8 points of damage.
Well,
Halved,
then they
so
die.
4 points. 4 points, sorry, halved. So it's 4 points.
Okay, well, all the pixies die then.
Oh no, I'm rolling it for each one's. For each one.
No,
So-
they're all going to die. They only have 1 HP, I think.
Ah, okay.
So,
The pixies, as they fly closer to the lava, just you see their wings spark and shrivel up like paper to a flame, and they just like crumble into ash. And the birds are okay because they are technically still carrying the
no, they're
Braces.
not. It's a
in their
concentration spell.
ah.
Braces. Wait, what?
Okay, and the bird people, you guys turn back into your humanoid forms.
Okay, so I turn back to humanoid form on Brian's shoulder.
Brian,
Brian shoves you off.
Cass just kind of tumbles to the ground. And you
think
guys
I'll
are
also take a tumble.
in your crevice. And, sorry, your perception was a 23, and your survival, was it, Slayer, you rolled?
17.
17, okay. You guys combined are able to expertly find somewhere which you think looks very safe and obscured from any external kinds of eyes, anyone who might be able to see you, and you can hunker down. And if anybody wishes to do anything, prepare anything, look around, investigate things, you have the time to do this.
I think Cass is going to make sure that she's got the dust of disappearance on hand and ready to go
Yeah.
if needed.
For sure.
Are we taking a short rest?
That's actually a very good point. Sarah's would ask the same question. He'd be like, "Are we going to rest here? What is this? What is the game plan going forwards?"
Are we able to rest? Have time.
I think some of us need to.
Yeah.
Lorraine puts a hand on your shoulder, also, and gives it a squeeze, and says, "Do you want to go and sit down together somewhere?"
I would prefer if we stick together.
All of us.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I can try and make I forgot what I call it, sanction. And we can have a rest here.
Emma,
Hi.
is there anything Blue should be doing about her plate armor, which crunched basically into her shoulder? Like,
That's a very good point. Looking at it, you do feel the metal is completely warped. You get the impression you probably need to replace this or take this to a blacksmith to have it completely reshaped. At the moment, it is not really doing too much for you because it is only a shoulder piece. I don't necessarily think it will I don't necessarily think right now it will affect your armor class too much. However, if this takes any more damage than it already has, or becomes any more misshapen than it already has done, there will be a penalty probably imposed. So you can choose to do what you want with that.
Is there any way she could like punch back out like the shape?
You can certainly try.
What role would that be?
Be a strength check followed by a dexterity check. I would need you to succeed both.
Can Cass assist in any way?
Cass,
I don't know
if you
if
want
they-
to hold the piece down, I will give Bluey advantage on the dexterity check.
Okay, well that was 13 on the strength. And then
Oh, that must have been a bad roll.
On the dex.
Yeah, 13.
Oh, sorry, I rolled both.
Okay.
Is that alright?
Yeah, so 13 on the strength, and then the dex is...
The dex is 17.
17, yep. Okay. It's not particularly strong enough, you think, to... Yeah, it's not particularly strong enough to undent it fully. However, you get the impression if you worked on this over a short period of time, you could get something usable out of it.
Right.
To get it fully repaired, you'll have to take it to a blacksmith, you think.
I think because if we are taking
damaging my shoulder if I wore it.
It's not doing a lot as it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is probably going to help.
Okay.
You would at least be able to move your sword arm a bit better.
If we're doing a short rest, then Cass will do that for Bluey, so that Bluey can actually recuperate. Because I don't feel like being a short rest and then trying to punch her armor back into shape is really resting.
Yeah.
So Cass would take punching the armor if we're doing a short rest.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. So Cass can take lead on that. Whilst everybody, you do notice that Bluey is kind of just like where her armor has been hit by the storm giants. Her clothing is singed and burning away, almost melting in places. There are scorch marks and burns on her arms and on her hands, which are exposed now. She doesn't look in a very good way.
Roll some hit dice.
Do you want to roll hit dice or do we want to expand?
Yeah, I'm going to do hit dice.
Yeah, you can do hit dice if you want to heal up a bit, Bluey.
I
And
have a
everyone else
potion
is-
of healing on me, which...
Don't waste a potion of healing if you need to use it in a fight.
Okay. Maybe I'll just like make everyone aware, be like, on my body, it's here. Like, if you need to fish it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, everybody, let's take stock of our emergency supplies. Where are the foil blankets? Where are the emergency rations? Everyone got some. We're all prepared for this amazing adventure that we're going on. Yes. And Loran says to you, Bluey, he says, I would help you in any way if I could, but I physically am unable to heal. You see. Without endangering myself, of course. And I need to be in tip-top condition for... and he just jazz hands towards Allstairs' general direction.
I mean, also for yourself.
He twirls around and goes and he sort of just nestles up next to Allstairs.
I'm rolling hit dice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to roll hit dice?
Hit dice work?
So on your character sheet, you
I
have
didn't need to use one of those.
on your character sheet you have a set HP, and then just below that you should have your. Is it below or above it? Yeah, just below that you should have your hit dice, which is written there.
On D&D Beyond.
I'm back to
Yeah.
4.
See it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is it?
Loran is like attending to your every need. Would you like a massage? Will that make you feel better? A foot rub? No?
Whatever
Okay,
you're
I will.
alright with.
You have.
Cannot
You'll
see
probably
what
hit.
it does.
You should have 14 to spend.
Yep, 14 to spend.
Yeah.
14
And-
D10s, is it?
I
If
think
you have a D10, yeah.
if you click on
Mine's a
short
D8,
rest
so-
on on D&D Beyond. It'll like preview like how many dice you have, I think.
Lorenz is a D6.
Oh, and I tick off each as I do them? Or...
And can you roll?
Sorry.
And can you roll full all 14?
You
Yeah.
could.
I only use 5 and I'm back to full.
Yeah. They're good to spend in your short rests instead of healing like magic and that kind of thing if you want to save magic. But what they represent is you doing whatever ritual, whatever activity is you need to do to
Cool.
recuperate your health.
And we do a natural recovery as well.
Yes. Anybody wants to do that, please do recover your spells.
I'm going to, in that case, roll for punching the armor.
Go for it. Roll me. Let's do 3 strength checks.
Is that so?
First off, do the strength checks.
3
'cause
strength
we're just going to
checks?
see
Okay,
whether
roll
you're strong
2
enough
at
to
the
do
same
this. And then you'll need dexterities to see whether you can aim it properly.
Okay, so that is a 14 and a 22.
Okay. Those are fine.
That's for 2 of them, and then I'll roll them. Oh god! I threw my dice away. I've lost it. Okay, it's fine. I've got another one, and that was and a 19.
19.
Where's-
Okay. So the 14
22,
probably... you get the
19,
impression-
and 14.
14 as kind of like a test hit. You aren't quite getting it, but as you go on, you are able to perfect the technique, and then eventually getting a little bit tired, you get a little bit sloppier, but you're able to summon the strength. Now just roll me 3 dexterity checks, please. 3.
Okay,
Dex
where
checks.
is my other die? Hang on. Sorry, I dropped
This
it.
is
Fell on
the-
the floor, and I
Okay.
got it. I'm back.
These are becoming unsettlingly warm. Is it
Your
my
ears are
own
heating up.
body?
Okay.
Depends on like what they're made of. They might absorb your natural body heat.
They are part of me now. I can hardly even feel them anymore. Which is weird.
Okay. And then. All right, so we've got 2 19s and a. Oh, I forgot what that was. I think it was an 11.
Okay,
I literally forgot, but it was low. I knew it was low,
sure.
so I'm going to
Okay,
say 11. And then,
You make a fair effort at reshaping this shoulder pauldron. It's definitely not. It's definitely a temporary measure, but it's gone from being concave to convex. So there you go. That's at least something. So there you go.
Thank you, Loran,
okay,
for the
Cass hands it
message.
back to Blue, being like, Bluey, I did the best I could with this. It was pretty beat up.
Oh, thank you for eating it up the other way.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Okay, so
Before we go on, I would
Yeah.
like to cast 2 4th level aids on the party.
okay,
So everybody gets back. If you haven't gotten back your max, up to max yet, you regain 15 HP, and your maximum HP goes up by 15.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
nice.
So we plus 15 to the maximum.
Thanks.
Wow.
And it's lasts
If
for 8
it's-
Oh,
hours.
Cass is so
To concentrate on it.
So beefy.
Cass is so beefy
Thanks,
right
Leah.
now.
does
And-
that mean
Yeah.
if I have less than 15 to get to maximum already, does
It'll charge you 15, and then in addition, your max HP goes up by 15 for the next 8 hours.
I accidentally added 116 and then I got to 200 and something. That's
so max HP modifier, I'd add 15.
So, okay,
No, wait.
to break this down, Brian, Loran, Sarazer, Bluey, Neff, Cass, you guys all take an additional 15 points to increase your HP maximum.
Heck yeah.
Oh, temp HP.
Nope. For the next 8 hours, you have an additional 15 HP.
If you're not up to full, does it heal you to full?
Yes, it does heal you up to full.
And does it heal you to full as well?
Clerics.
Okay, so Anna, you're basically plus 15 to your max HP, and that's what your current HP is, as well as your new maximum.
Okay. So I override max HP for now.
Yeah. For the next 8 hours.
45. Okay. And then I add 15 healing. Okay. I think I got it. Thank you.
No. So you're just
No.
you're maxed out. You don't add 15 healing, do you? It just maxes you out to your maximum heal.
You regain
right,
15 HP. Like, say I did a cure wounds, and that was like the total. And then in addition to that,
okay, I got it now.
Your maximum goes up by 15.
Cool. So ignore me, Anna. I was giving you false info.
So, sorry, do I in effect change max HP
I feel
first
very,
and then
very
get healed
beefy.
15? Sorry.
It really wouldn't matter which way you healed it.
Yes.
Like, if
Okay.
you can choose to add the 15, like regain the 15. It also just depends on how much you decided to take back. If you decided to take back like all of your HP that you had by re-rolling hit dice, so that you were at maximum already, then what would happen is you would just refill up to like your maximum would just increase. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you.
I went override max HP and it's already given me like more than.
I'm just mentally keeping track of it. I'm not going to mess around with the character sheet.
Okay.
What's wrong?
I'm confused.
You just go to temp HP and add in 15.
Yeah, if you want
So
to.
it is temp HP? I thought
It doesn't.
Do you want to show me? Turn around.
So sorry, it's tiny. Like as
So
in
see in the little corner how
Yeah.
it says like temp HP.
yeah.
Add type 15 in there,
All right.
and then that will bring you up 15.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it should do.
But I also healed.
So you heal to max, and then you get 15 extra. So just add 15 to your max, and then you're at that level. Do you want me to do it?
All right.
Yeah?
Yes. Okay.
Cool.
Sorry.
Alright.
Who knew that was going to be where we ended up?
Apologies.
It is done.
That's okay. We're all nice and beefy now.
Beefy boys.
Okay.
Thank you, Slya.
Thank you, Slayer.
I was going to tweet. Sorry, I'm
Alright,
back in
never
the phone
ending
now.
gratitude.
Thanks, Leah. Also, Brian, I'm so sorry for flying into the flames.
Just please don't do that again.
I didn't know that the fire would be so fiery.
If I was going to say if you said the fire would be hot, I would push you in the lava, but I'm going to restrain myself and go sit in this corner.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Thanks for polybog.
Also,
Phoebe.
I'm going to just change something. Earlier I said the pixies died instantly, but they would have made that save after an hour. So I'm going to say that they would have been there for about half of the short rest, and you would have noticed them. They would have been there for about half of the short rest before you noticed they were beginning to wet a little bit. So if there's anything you want to
I
do...
will dismiss them.
Okay. Everyone dismiss them or use any of the spells they might have had in the meantime. That is something you can do. And I'll just say that you dismiss them naturally, either when the spell ends or as just before you realise they're about to bamf out. So, and just so you know, going forwards, guys, when you're polymorphed, you can maintain constant effects from your magical spells. So if anybody who has that spell wants to turn people into T-Rexes and take big bites out of pit fiends, you're still protected from fire. From the feet. Not the feet, from the heat exhaustion. So, yes. But now, I've been thinking about this. Barry is a snake, Cass. So just beware that if you bring him out he might turn back into a belt extremely quickly. Same with any.
Yeah, I
someone
don't
has a bag of
think it
tricks.
has to be bringing Barry out. In this.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
Barry's gonna stay. Barry.
Right. As
not
you're
Barry.
all resting, all stay. You notice Loran he's just kind of looking at you at the corner of his eye, and he's just sort of like twiddling his fingers and just shifts ever so slightly, gives you a little bit more space. And just kind of like seems to be humming to himself, glancing away every now and again.
Can I insight check him?
Sure.
23 again.
73. Isn't that a movie? No, it's 17 again. Okay.
No, it wants to be 23 again.
We're 23 now!
I'm not yet.
Babu.
You're not yet.
Almost.
I'm 23 now! Oopsie!
I'm
Same.
22.
23 club.
Wow, so Wakai. I'm just pouring a bit more tea.
Anna's the most.
God, that was
okay.
so last year.
Oh, George. Okay, so inside checking him, he seems a little like uncertain. He's sort of like shifting every now. He keeps his sort of like signature Loran grin on, but he just seems to be like giving you a little bit more space than he usually does.
Is he humming to the whole party?
Yeah, if only you hear Loran just like humming and twiddling his thumbs like do. I should have been a bard. I'm so good at this. Oh, goodness me.
I'll just go behind him and like also put his hands on Loran's shoulders and just rest his head between his shoulder blades and just stay like that for a bit.
He flops his head back and just you hear a message in your mind just say, "Are we okay?"
Also just tightens his arms around Loran and nods.
Saw plenty caves around here, just saying.
You just see Ulster smack Loran's chest.
I'm kidding, mostly. Alrighty. So, as you all heal up, is there anything anybody wants to say to each other? Anybody wants to do, to attempt, to investigate?
That wasn't me.
Everyone looks
signaling
at
out.
everyone looks at
That was
Cass.
me genuinely clearing my throat.
Yeah, Cass.
Cass is just like, nah, nothing.
Oh,
Do we have any
okay.
plan?
I don't think we do, is the thing.
How long has it been, do you think?
Since we got in here, Sarah asks. Hard to say. More than a couple hours. We were at least that long in the tunnels. And everyone, you do feel there is a weight on your shoulders. Not full exhaustion yet, but there's been a little bit of time has passed. You can tell. A significant bit of time has passed. Sorry.
I think Cass is going to cast a ritual, just comprehend languages, just towards the end of their rest, just to, if
Sure.
like she can listen into anyone talking elemental or any other languages that might help. That might come in useful.
For sure.
Might not, but she'll do that before we
So
head
you
off.
have comprehend languages going. Oh, actually, this is a good point. Loran was considering doing a thing. So, Loran says, apart from becoming a bard. Oh, right, yes, I forgot. In my daydreams, I am partially convinced that should something go awry, we might have to run very fast away from this horror hellscape that we found ourselves in. Now, should that happen, I don't necessarily want all of this stress, pain, and suffering to have been for nothing. What would you say to me attempting to make some kind of teleportation circle? Yeah. We're not in the city.
In this cave.
We're not technically in the city, so it could work.
That's true.
But what if it bounces off the field and throws us into the sea? Fire.
If it throws us into the sea, we're released from this mortal coil and we never have to deal with it.
Okay, if that's a remote possibility, I think maybe we shouldn't do that.
I'm
You,
mostly
Lorad,
joking.
your
Thanks so much for
post-death
living.
life is probably going to be pretty sweet. You're going to bump me straight into Non's grip. That's going to be great.
I was hoping for something more
Well,
along the lines of it's
because
definitely not
I
going to
was
happen.
I just need you to know that's a risk I'm willing to
Afterlife,
take.
Okay, let's not. I don't think we can take that risk.
The only issue is with the teleportation circle here. Like, wouldn't anyone else be able to use the teleportation circle? And then we just created a teleportation circle for free use. That's my only concern.
What if I made it
Alongside being cast.
really well hidden? Like I put some leaves in front of it or something. Some rocks.
You'd make some sort of.
Or you leave
go
one of
off
the
or leave.
rune. Can I just ask, you mean draw a teleportation circle here and use that to get out of the city?
I think we have various ways out. We can run back to the city and hide with Captain Ballista. We could plane shift out. But ways back in, specifically this far, I don't know.
Oh. Well, you can try it.
We could try it. What do you think? Okay. Well, he starts getting out his various chalks. He says, maybe charcoal will blend in a bit better. And starts looking around for a good place to start drawing it. What to do? Okay, and he just starts.
I'm just going to do I'm just going to do a perception check
Sure.
around to make sure that there's no one. 17.
Sweet. Okay. 17. Looking around, don't see anyone humanoid. No one who looks at all resembling
Hang on,
himself.
sorry.
Sure. That's fine.
Oh, can I do
My
this?
parents are just
Would it have been possible to give Loran like assist him trying to find like a really good spot that would be hidden, that would be a good place to like place the teleportation circle?
Sure, you can definitely do that. Make a survival check. Yeah, survival. Survival.
Okay, that's 18 plus 9, 27, I think.
27. Okay. Definitely. You are able to find a piece of wall which, from the outside of your small kind of like crevice that you've used as your kind of hideout, looks like it's just completely blank. And only once you go inside at a certain angle can you see all of the runes line up in a circle. You get the impression that whilst if you were to use this teleportation circle, you would go like this, plop, fall out face first onto the ground. At least it's better hidden than if it was people were just walking right over it. Also, is there something you wanted to do? Or anything else?
I realized there's a ritual I could do, the commune with nature, to see if I can feel any fiend in the area.
Sure, yeah, definitely. Okay. So as you start your ritual, taking 10 minutes or so to do that, this is probably going to be like just in the brief time where you're planning after your official short rest is done. You begin your ritual, and you feel your mind is kind of like spread like roots through the ground. And hang on a second. Let me just check.
And he's right behind us.
Right. He's behind you!
Do I smell goulash?
Crawled just at the entrance of the cave.
No.
It was I all along.
Okay.
He pops out of the volcano.
Everybody, you watch.
Sorry,
as
just saying
Ulster's
goodbye
eyes-
to the family.
Sure. Ulster's eyes just glow red as he becomes one with nature. Okay. Radius.
What did my perception check see? Sorry, I had to disappear.
Sorry, yes. I'll really quickly do that. Yep. Your perception check, you see no humanoid. You do, however, know exactly where those fire giants are, just waiting And every now and again you peek out and you just see they're almost still like completely like boulder-like faces, almost indiscernible if you didn't know where they are. And you get the impression that these fire giants are a common occurrence in this kind of place, and probably aren't half responsible for the amount of smoke that comes out of the top of this volcano. So that's what you see. No immediate threat. I'll sum it up as that.
Cool.
Ulster, you become one with nature. Avatar state. So, terrain and bodies of water. You know that the man-made structure in the center is going to be slightly more difficult to understand, but you can get what's beneath it. And you do feel that. Sure.
Sorry, can I just clarify? It's really weird in the spell because it says it doesn't function when nature is being replaced by construction, such as dungeons and towns. But then in the list of things that you can find out about it says buildings. So I'm like,
yes,
why?
it's interesting. Okay, I think that would be probably
you
because
can't get into every building, or just you can see the outside or not the inside. I don't know.
I think what that would represent in my mind is a absence of what you can feel. Like you could feel the shape around a building and understand that absence of something is a man-made structure, and then surmise that, oh, there is a cluster of buildings here. There is a township here. But you don't know necessarily what those buildings are or what is inside them unless there's something natural underneath. And actually, that's kind of exactly how it feels at the moment. You know, right beside you, as you commune with nature, there is a large man-made structure, but you just feel this absence of space, except when you look beneath, and you feel this sort of like large open cavern, the top of which is almost carved off where the building structure begins. And there you don't feel, I don't remember whether Ifrit are fiends. I'm just going to check. But I mean, I might have just given it away. What's there, eh?
Fiends, elementals, celestials, fae, undead.
Oh, there.
I
Yes,
immediately
elementals.
detect Loran and
Perfect.
Sarza.
You immediately take Loran and Sarza. They burn bright, their energy. Okay, elementals. Yes, you feel 6 Ifrit within 300 feet of you. You know that would probably be excluding the pathway which led up to the forge itself. Just right in front of you, you feel Ifrit in that area. Fae fiends, no undead, no celestials, no fiends that you can feel. However, you know that could just mean that Terravine is somewhere in the man-made structure. So that's not a definite either way.
I don't think it would block it. I just wouldn't be able to feel it.
You won't be able to feel.
I
The
don't
spell
think it
doesn't
would
function when
block it.
nature has been replaced by Constitution. By Constitution?
Construction.
Construction.
But I would still be able to sense people around. I don't think that's how it works.
Okay. Sure, yeah. Yeah, then you would feel that Terravine is in there. Or a fiend of some sort is in there. Terrains and bodies of water. There are no bodies of water within 300 feet. Within.
I can only pick 3 of the things. So,
okay, which one are you doing?
I think we've already done 3, so I'll just stop there.
Okay, for sure. Cool. All right then. So, you emerge from your avatar state. Would you like to share your information?
No, just convey it with the party. We kind of already knew he was in there, right?
Yeah, but it's good to know what we're getting ourselves into. You know, we can properly prepare now. Speaking of, do we have a plan? Just questions. Feel like we can figure out the answers to before we're face to face with demise and fire and desolation and all of that. Oh, this is some good tea. Thank you, Cass. It's alcoholic.
Are we hoping for some vents that we could climb through, or is that a bit...
You can have a look around and see if there are any. Would you like to investigate that?
Yeah.
Please investigate for vents if that is what you would like to see.
Sorry.
That's a 6.
A 6. No vents that you can see from inside the little crevice, Blue? Nope. If you want to go outside and have a bit of look, maybe a perception check of the general area, that might be able to assist you a lot more. Anyone else rolling for investigation on some vents?
Yeah, I'll have a look
Sure,
around.
why not?
Sure. Okay, so you guys begin to exit out of the crevice, following Bluey's lead as she explores the general area. Loran, in the 10 minutes it took you to commune with nature, Ulster, has finished up what looks like a fairly solid teleportation circle, and he gives you a thumbs up. And then you guys can move out into the outside of the forge. So,
Wait, did we make a plan, or are we just climbing in?
you're just looking for. Oh, Bluey.
Just looking at the moment. I've got a 15 on perception.
Okay.
Outside.
Just to clarify, if there's anybody who doesn't want to look specifically for entrances or ways in and wants to do something different, like devise a different kind of plan, that is also fine. I just was asking around to see who wanted to go out. So if there's anything you want to do, just let me know. Louis, what did you roll?
15.
15?
Perception.
Yes. So with a perception 15, you see that the building itself goes up 3-ish stories. The ledge that you're standing on is probably about 10 feet sturdy ground before you start getting to the precarious kind of stone beach-like ledge which leads into the lava, and every now and again it sloshes just a little bit too close for comfort. You can see that there are some like streams of grey which resemble the sludge you kind of slid into, coming out from like around the corners of the building, which you can't quite see from here. So you get the impression there are drains, just not any that you can see personally. You did only roll very, very low on your investigation though. So, and if anybody else was going to assist in looking for a way in,
I rolled a 27 on my investigation.
I rolled a 14 on mine.
okay. Slia?
Could I do some sort of like intelligence-based check to see if I remember, like, or like if I would know about any general like layout of, you know, like basic forges that would be a good idea to suggest for like making entrance into this place?
Sure, yeah. I think both Ulster and Slia, considering you guys are both thinking less in like terms of like just sort of full-heartedly rushing off and just digging around for entrances. You see Sarazar is kind of hung back as well, and seems to be kind of going over in his mind and contemplating like a plan of action. And as he sees you guys sort of just like hesitating, you all stare like kind of like surveying the entrance with your powerful perception skills, and you, Slia, kind of like internally kind of processing everything. He like summons you over and begins to start discussing strategy with the both of you, rather than just going out full-heartedly. The two of you who rolled investigations, Neff, you also see those sort of like slurry like streams leading into the sea of lava, and you kind of like sort of begin to just like kind of rush over to see where they kind of come from, but you get the impression that the rock formations that make up the little ledge that you're on, they're either too unstable or too tall to actually get to at least one of those sewers, if that's what they are. And Cass, you see that all of that exactly the same. No sewers on this side. 3 stories up, you do see a window of some kind, like a rectangular opening, probably a foot wide or so, large enough for you guys to fit through if you squeezed. And that's what you see, if you don't want to investigate any further from the other 2 trains of slurry leading into the lava.
Yeah, I think Cass
Quickly
would
cutting to the...
do
Okay,
that.
so we will come back to that. Sarazar says to you, Ulster and Slia, and Loran probably would have hung back as well. He just says, I don't know about all of you, but even though it's been this hard, it kind of feels like it's been a bit too easy so far.
Yeah.
If it gets any harder, someone's going to die.
I think I was expecting someone to die. I won't lie. Obviously, I don't want that, but I'm just... I feel off since coming in here, and I think I won't be comfortable if we keep going forwards without a more solid plan.
Well, like I said before, they can turn us into mist for 8 hours if we wanted to go in, scope the place out, no one will be able to detect us. We can leave and regroup back at the cavern now. 8 hours is fog.
I think
It
that's
just
not a
takes a
bad
lot of
idea.
energy.
He puts a hand on your shoulder and just says, I don't want you to have to do that. Unless we are certain we can safely rest at the end of all that. I don't want you to be
Regroup at the
defenseless in
cavern.
there. I know you're not going to want to hear this, but if there was a way some of us could stay back, keep an eye out, while some of us went in as mist to check.
Okay.
He looks surprised. You're okay with that?
Well, if we discuss it with the others, we can figure out who wants to stay, and, well, obviously I have to go.
That means I'm going to, Loran says.
Well, if you're mist, I can't really do anything to you, so I guess it's safe.
Yeah. If we're all just one big cloud, they wouldn't even be able to tell us apart, I'm certain. Also, I've been kind of wondering... There's a part of... I also, Sarah, I can really empathize with your emotions right now. I've also been feeling a little bit unsettled because of the fact that we're all really quite in our prime, except for maybe Sarah's are a little bit in our prime, like fairly, powerful, except for Sarah's are just a little bit fae creatures, fae-esque
They might, yeah.
origin. They might want to harvest our bodies, and I'm not quite down with that. Like, I'm down to try a lot of things, just not quite that. And if we go in as mist first, then we can kind of get an idea of what's inside,
So fae people should be the mist, because then they won't be able to tell what we are.
Yeah.
That includes Slayer.
Oh, yeah. Slayer, yeah. That's also... Yeah.
So non-fae people will be staying in the cavern.
Sarahza kind of just nods to himself and says, I think that's for the best.
The other side of that is, what if they get discovered?
Yeah.
In the cavern?
Here's the
Leave
thing.
them in the sanctum. I have one more thing left.
Oh, we could do this. Yeah.
In fact, I think I have 2. But anyway.
However many you have, we could use one. And Sarahza says, he comes in very close. And he looks over at Bluey, just kind of Bluey, you're at full health now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bluey still wearing the remnants of her beating from the fire giants. Cass, what are you doing? Just curious. That's what you doing?
I mean, Cass was just investigating the slurry.
Sure.
Points, wasn't she? She's just looking around trying to find a good entrance.
Cool. So you look at the 3 who kind of just ran out to immediately hands-on investigate everything, and Sarah looks back and he just says,
We knock them out and tie them down. Ryan's just completely seriously.
Sarah says, I've never once, Ulster...
We leave Cass in
You
charge.
You say some
Between
outrageous
the 3
things
of them.
sometimes, but between the 3 of them, that is probably the best. At least we leave Cass in charge, and we have a...
We're taking all the sensible people and the non-sensible people.
It's gonna be chaotic.
Yeah, I think Slyan's just like, are you sure that is a great idea?
We leave Cass in charge.
Cass is both sensible
Sarah
and
looks
also
conflicted.
not sensible.
Yep.
But we
And
give them
the
a harsh
border is
talking to before.
conflicted.
I was exactly
So
going
they-
to say
they-
this, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
God.
Because remember when we role-played with Neff how to get past the guards. We can do that again. We can do a little seminar. Teach them the buddy system.
All right, let's reassemble the children. Everyone, right, fingers.
I will give you one chance to quickly investigate the other side of the slurry. Do you want to? You want me just one more investigation?
That is a nice 21.
21, yes. You two begin to scramble up the side of the rock formation. And whilst the slurry kind of trail that Neff investigated didn't really come to any kind of fruition in terms of showing you a way in, when you look, you do see that there is a precarious ledge which could lead you to a sewer-like entrance. However, the slurry itself is openly weeping into the lava, which means there is probably going to be some intense heat if you were to slip and fall, even once you got inside. So you have two options.
Okay.
Somehow climbing the building and going in through the window, or climbing across the building and crawling spider-like across the ceiling. So, what would you like? You are, but then you hear Easted's voice
that information,
telling you all to Avengers assemble in the area. So,
sorry, one sec.
Cool. All right, but Saraza and Slya, if there was anything you wanted to say to Saraza and Loran, I think I might have cut you off at one point. Sorry.
Just, is there was there a check I could have made to, like, an intelligence check to see if, like, I knew of any, like, forge layouts that would just make sense as to this building that would have given us a good access point?
Sure, let me consider. Let me consult the list of checks you can make.
History?
You could do a history. You could do a history and base it as your personal history.
Yeah.
Yes, history. Probably the best.
Cool. That is a 15 plus 2, so 17.
17. Cool. Alrighty. So, with a 17, you know that, for example, slurry, which isn't used, it's similar to grit, right? When you put in stonework or metal in a grit turner, I don't actually know if it's called a grit turner, but like that's kind of what I've just been calling a tumbler. It'll polish the rocks and then polish the metals, and whatever is left over will be kind of just discarded. So you get the impression that this following these trails could lead you to eventually, you don't know the inside of the layout of this forge very well, but it could eventually lead you somewhere like the main workroom. But
following along that, like those like slurry ducts, you could figure out like kind of an idea of what the trails of those would look like.
You'd get the impression, if this was built to material plane standards, to metalworking forge standards, it would just be either the most direct route or the most space-effective route. If it's a space-effective route, then you can't quite understand because you don't know the rest of the building layout. If it's just the most direct route, then you get the impression just following these would lead you straight into the workspace.
Okay.
Which has its own pros and cons, you would know. Pros being that you would be right there in the thick of it quickly. Cons being that there probably wouldn't be too many places to hide, if that is the case.
Okay. And I will lay that out to Sarah.
Yes, we need to be missed first. But he turns to you again, Olstead, and says, "You sure you can do this?"
As long as I can recover the spell after.
Okay. And the rest of you begin to gather around, and your full party's together again. And Saraza says, "We have the inclinations, semi-stirrings of a plan. Would you like to hear it?"
It involves splitting the party.
Yeah.
And
no.
No, it's a yes. It's going to have to happen.
Cass, if we told you we decided that of the three, you were the most competent, would it make you feel any better about the idea? Well, your silence is answering.
Cass turns around. And... So weird. Sorry, the signal is a bit funny because my camera should be on.
If you want to
there we go. I'm sorry, I moved places.
That's perfect.
Cass like turns to look at Neff and Bluey and goes, "Yeah, the most competent. That's such a compliment, guys." Like,
Loran says it was a tough contest.
It's like insulting all of us.
You have come out on top barely, and you should be proud of that. Except you shouldn't be. Yes,
slightly.
Just
Neff is baby. He pats Neff on the head.
I'm baby.
Sarah looks at you and says, "Neff, I think you have a lot of skills,
such as being baby."
Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome. In fact, I think that you're showing great promise in your new role as Temple of Death Cleric. Is that still applicable?
Yes, I love this new goth aesthetic you have.
Thank you.
Yes, no, it's truly propelled you to greater heights.
I've seen you be dying less, ironically enough. So far, at least.
I would quite like it if you didn't die at all. Yes, and everyone, you can pull back into the cave. And Sarasa just says, "So our plan, mostly thanks to Ulster and Slya's knowledge of forges, we're thinking that it's probably best to turn ourselves into mist and then fly in to the forge.
Because we'll look like steam, essentially, which seems to belong in here.
Mm-hmm. And considering that we
those are pointy ears.
Yes, we possess the features which would be mostly considered fey. We should be disguised / misted, just in case anybody happens upon you or here and causes a scene.
Mm-hmm.
And Loran says, "Oh, I had a great idea as well. We could make you all look like, well, I could make you all look like kobolds or a little fire genasi or gremlin goblin-esque hermit creatures of the flame." Any thoughts?
I mean,
any preferences?
Yeah,
I know.
Why not?
Yes, Cass, I know you already look like that, but what I'm saying is, like a different one.
The most good-looking one you've ever seen.
Looks are subjective, but sure.
Gosh, the shade! Fucking hell.
Dang.
Yes, Cass, I would make you the hottest.
Jealous.
Cass, I would make you the hottest of the three. Would that make you more amicable to it?
You don't need to make me the hottest of the three. I am the hottest of the three. No offense, guys.
Why don't you make her ugly to humble her?
It's not a bad idea.
Even if you made me ugly, my personality is still so winning. That I'm still beautiful.
I think you need to make her ugly.
We need your personality to really shine. So, okay, I will turn you all into stunning, beautiful, gremlin fire kobold creatures. Sounds good?
Can I be the kobold?
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
It'll be cool. It'll be wonderful. Okay. So, if anybody does happen upon you, you have a cover story. You can just say you escaped the cult of the Rat King or something like that.
Yeah, revolution wasn't coming soon enough.
I will give all of you red berets. Perfect. Do you hear that? Is it people singing?
Do you hear the people sing?
Right, I want to say one of my favorite photos I did during work from home was the photo of me with the Les Mis, and like no one got it because like there's a line in the song which is like, beyond the barricade, there is a world I long to see. And I was like, oh, beyond the language barricade, get it? Because language barrier. And I was like, oh, shit. And then
Oh, that's cute.
It's okay, Emma. We
Your
appreciate you.
talents are wasted
Yeah.
Very much so.
On mere mortals. You guys are great.
on these fools.
Aylin, what are you drinking out of?
Oh, it's a.
Oh, it's a box. Wow. Oh, it's so adorable. Oh, that's really cute.
And in the inside it says, "Wherever you are, be all there."
Aww.
Oh.
That's really sweet.
Aww. It's cute.
It's
That's
my
really-
favorite mug.
Yeah, it's adorable.
It's freaking adorable.
Mm. Wow. Okay, so
Okay.
So are we? Is there anything we can do whilst you're in there?
Absolutely nothing. Sit tight. Don't touch anything. Don't say anything.
Sarah doesn't say anything to this.
Planning.
Can I inside check Sarah's?
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that Brian's a bit on edge.
15. How's
So
Sarah's doing?
can I?
Sure. I will tell you. Sarah's Sarah's been a bit off ever since he got into the cave. He's been kind of just like a bit jumpy, a little bit not himself. Yeah, edgy. But not in the way Sarah's usually is edgy. You know, in the way that usually it's like, oh my god, such a tragic life. Everything up until this moment has forced
Speak now
me
of
into an
Emma
emo boy.
Jobbies.
Yeah. George, is there anything?
I think Cass is going to turn to Brian and go, so is the thought that you're scoping it out and then coming back here?
Yes, but if anything goes wrong, you could message us intermittently. And I think the mental connection, we won't be able to actually get out or like cast spells ourselves, but just the mental connection. You can just message us. We can tell you if there's anything happening.
Is there a reason that we're not all going together?
Because if some of
Is
us get
there-
trapped in there, or vice versa,
Okay.
if it goes horribly wrong.
We could all go.
Cool. All right. Have fun as crowds.
We could all Klaus.
Yeah.
Sorry, who's Klaus? Cass? Is that your alter ego? Is that your gremlin, kobold, fiery boy alter ego, Klaus? Red boy.
I was
red
saying
hat
to you
boy,
guys,
red-
have fun as clouds.
Oh, I think say Klaus. I was like,
Um,
Have fun as
No, no, but Cass's alter ego could be, well, Karen, Klaus. Oh, I thought you'd left. Sorry. I thought I was alone here.
the brief horror.
Yeah. No.
She's real.
Klaus could be Cass's alter ego because we've got Karen, Cass, and Klaus.
Perfect. Okay.
It does make sense to have people hear all the echoes back.
Okay, I will fix it.
I'm confused because we have a teleportation circle that the Rand's made,
Mhm.
and if something happens, I don't know.
That's to get back to this point if we have to leave.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the
I am
purpose.
running out of spells. You see, I'm very exhausted in my energies. So you know, well, I'm
You
not.
should have got them back with a short rest, no?
Yeah.
I am a wizard, sir. You come back on a long rest for a wizard.
But
Yeah,
but
Ah.
the arcane recovery though.
Oh yeah, but that only brings back. He's chosen a higher level, one higher level spell. So yes.
Okay. But we're not going to be fighting or retrieving any contracts. We'll be coming back to you.
So we're just having a look.
To look.
If you
reckon
guys want
we'll
us
be
to
gone.
stay, that is fine.
I reckon we'll be in and
Right,
out
we'll have
back in
fun
time
being
for tea.
Okay, I guess maybe,
Go be
maybe
clouds.
keep near
Please rescue us if anything goes wrong. I'm not ready to die yet.
Keep near the roof so it looks like your steam going up to the sea.
Right, steam rises, yes. We don't want to be spooky fog on the floor.
Yeah.
That does look a bit unnatural.
All right.
All right,
So-
Claire.
Witchy fog.
What's the spell you're casting again? Not Misty Boy. Misty Boy,
Windwalk.
my favourite spell. Windwalk.
Misty Boy.
Boy.
That's the new
That's a
name. for
better
the spell.
name.
What a
I'm
mystery
casting
Goodbye,
Misty Boy.
6th level slot.
Okay. And Loran is going to cast Seeming again on the three of you and make you look like kobold revolutionaries. You're all wearing one of you's carrying a flag. You've got bandanas, red berets. He like begins to arrange a barricade in the rocks. He's like, this seems about right. Right, here are your cover stories. He points to Neff. You stole a loaf of bread and now you're being pursued.
The
by
local
the Rat
bread.
King. Maybe a loaf of dwarf. You stole a loaf of dwarf to feed your ailing sister.
Wait, you say a
Points
loaf
to
of bread? I
Blue.
thought you said the local bread. Like there's the bread that they have.
bread.
Like that's the bread, right? And I just stole that one.
You stole the town bread
The town bread.
to feed your ailing sister, points to Bluey, and now you're being hotly pursued by the Rat King, who is, points to Cass, this one's Klaus's former flame. But you betrayed him for revolution. How's that sound?
It's very complicated.
And
That
dramatic.
sounds about right.
Perfect.
Give me a gasp. It's like he wounded me when I abandoned him.
Scar over the heart. A mortal wound.
Wow.
Inflicted by the loss
Yes.
of love.
Klaus, tell us all the hot goss.
We'll see with Klaus. You guys can talk about the hot goss.
Well, guys, sit down, starts pouring some tea. Like, well, so this is what happened.
How's the tea? Amazing.
Maybe Bluey is my new flame,
Oh my goodness.
and we ran away
It was
together.
happening. It was going all along. Okay, so
Oh wait, before we leave. Wait. What
let me
languages
tell you
does
all this.
Louis speak?
Just Draconic and Common.
What languages does Neff speak?
Not that many. I speak Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Infernal.
Oh, not that many.
Alright,
Only 4.
And Cass has
Before we
comprehend
leave-
languages on.
I think also is going to go
Comprehend
to Neff and
languages
lean
on
in.
right now.
Yeah, he's going to take Neff just briefly aside and lean by her ear and say in Celestial, if we don't come back, ask Serena to do locate object on the hair in the High Solarian. And then
Okay.
he's just going to pull back and walk.
I'll respond back in Celestial. Okay. Which sounds like ah.
But
Right,
Cass
just having a
understands
chorus.
it. She's got comprehend languages on, so she's just like
But
looking
they
at
would have been
Brian
whispering.
like,
She would have. I said he took her aside.
okay,
He doesn't want anyone to
fine.
have their minds penetrated, and also Bluey didn't speak any other languages. He knows Cass might have a Lan being in her head, so
Okay, so with the kobold revolutionaries who you call friends standing in front of you watching Ulster, you begin to cast Windwalk. And Saraza quickly says, wait, hang on. I don't think we'll be able to communicate with each other, will we?
you can kind of shibby.
Okay. If something goes wrong, we get out as quickly as we can. There'll be no way to tell who is who.
Okay.
Well, there'll be no way to tell who is who. We'll just have to trust that we're all getting out.
Hold on, let me just check the specifications of the spell.
Yep.
So you will appear as a wisp of cloud, which means there'll be 4 wisps of cloud.
Yep. There's no way to
So
differentiate
as long
between
as
the
there's
wisps.
4.
So, but as long as
No,
there's
but as
four,
long as
they
there's
all
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can have like bobbing movements to signal who's who.
Okay, well, let's establish those. You guys, the spell I feel like is already slightly beginning to take hold, and you guys are just like genie-like half clouds at the moment.
Okay, up and down is me, side to side is Loran, diagonally is Slia, and Loran.
Cha-cha slide is Saraza.
Cha-cha, okay.
Yes.
Sounds
Just
good.
diagonally.
Oh, what
Slia
about
diagonally, Brian
spinny,
up and down.
Spin, spin, spin.
Somersaults, yes, perfect. Okay. A little tornado around. There we go.
I quite like it. And off you go. As you watch your friends turn fully into wisps of cloud. And should we quickly take a loo break here before we go on to the second step?
Sure thing.
Okay.
We'll be back in.
Loo break, tea break, snack
a
break.
moment. Stay
Anything-
tuned.
Okay.
suspiciously.
So suspiciously.
Yeah,
Boom, we have audio.
suspiciously.
Boom, we have video.
Suspiciously,
Welcome
they're
back,
probably just
everybody.
looking.
How's it going?
Hello. Okay. A suspicious procession of parents. Is what I think. All right. So, you guys, as kobolds, watch as your party members
Windy friends.
slowly become windy friends. Slowly become windy friends as their corporeal forms shrink and then expand into mist. All four wisps indiscernible from the other. I think we'll leave it to either Slya or Ulster to lead the way. So,
Slya knows the forge better, so I think Ulster would.
okay. So Slya, you have from your friends heard that there are 3 potential entrances, 2 slurries, and 1 window.
I feel like the window is going to be a bad idea, so I think
Emma recalibrates booby traps.
let's go for the slurries because I feel like that would probably be the most appropriate place for like steam to be coming out of.
Cool. Okay. So, I think. Let me just check real quick. Just reading the spells, make sure that I can tell you exactly how this goes. Appearing as wisps of cloud, while in this cloud form,
How
creatures
she
flying
can
speed of
kill
30
you all.
feet. Non-magical weapons only.
Should be
action.
killing Saraza and Loran in one shot, so that's a big thing for Emma.
I would never.
It is. Oh, the fire is now looking very pretty.
See, if you want to be safe, bring Saraza and Loran with you.
Mhm. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
This is
We'll
fine.
take both of them.
We'll take. So,
Take both Danes.
Yeah, just leaves Neff, Bluey, and Cass to die.
I mean,
Never in Kazza.
we left a healer with 2
Who's the
tanks.
healer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
we'll
good.
be alright.
I like your odds.
Yeah, I think
So
that's
you
pretty
can
good.
really
guys-
polymorph
exactly.
it. But anyway.
Cool. So you guys begin to fly into the forge. You enter the sewers and you notice immediately that the entryway to get in here, if you were going to use this as your way in, it looks like there are handholds across the wall, similar to the ones that you would have used, maybe the ones that Bluey and Cass would have used, crossing over that expanse of broken corridor leading out of the city and towards the volcano structure. There is also a very narrow ledge going across the ceiling, which you could use to stabilize yourself if something were to go wrong or if any of the handholds were to collapse. Otherwise, it is about 7 feet above lava, a very flat ceiling, and then it's just a mixture of very hot slurry and oh god, I'm gonna turn off my notifications real quick. No, a mixture of hot slurry and lava. So that is something that you notice and you can dwell upon as you consider which way is the best way in. You carry on, moving quick enough that you're not dawdling in any place, but not so fast that you miss anything. So do you want to set your speed to say it's a regular walking speed, knowing that you could instantly speed up to top speed 300 feet and 300 feet movement speed if you wanted to, so that you could probably take things in, or are you going quickly so that you can like semi-see?
Power walk.
Power walk, okay. Going a little bit faster than usual, but not too fast that you would miss anything. As you drift through, you begin to listen out. Everybody make perception checks, except for obviously Bluey, Cass, and
13.
Ooh.
oh, God, the Danes are deaf. 1 and 3.
Come on, Slya. I got a 3 as well, twinning with one of them.
Sorry, I'm using the calculator. It's 21.
21.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, so also got a 3 plus 10, so he only got a 13? Oh, okay. Slya, it's you. Yeah. Everyone else, as you kind of focus on taking in the surroundings, knowing that you can still take damage in these forms, trying to be careful and cautious, you're not really completely focused on the sounds you're hearing. Slya, you do hear the telltale signs of a forge. Those sounds beginning to intensify as you come to what appears to be a T-junction ahead of you. You can go left or you can go right. Listening out, it seems that one way is void of sound other than footsteps. And the other way is forge noises.
Okay, so we have diagonal moving cloud.
Mm-hmm. Diagonal moving cloud. What does diagonal moving cloud do? As everybody is stopped at this T-junction.
Yeah, there's like no way Slya can convey like, hey, like listen up.
Mm-hmm. You just got to make a choice.
You can rise above the group.
Listen up.
Listen.
Yeah, I'm going to say that a specific message isn't going to be possible, but catching attention as if to say, I think I know what to do. I think the others trust you enough to follow that lead, unless I'm mistaken. So I think it's a case of Slya. If you want to rise up and get everyone's attention, you could make the call on which way to go.
Okay. So just to clarify the plan, we are just trying to get a lookout. So it does like either way, we're probably going to be going both ways.
Yeah,
we're going to be trying to suss out the whole area.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what you would do.
I think it would probably be better for us to go towards the sound of the footsteps first, as opposed to directly into the forge.
For sure. Okay, so the sound of the footsteps. You follow to the right. As you go to the right, you realize that you are drifting away from the sounds of labor and towards this set of footsteps. And these are particularly heavy, so they do sound above the general sounds of the volcano, the lava, the general rumble that is just kind of constantly there the deeper you get into this volcano. But as you get closer to the point where you think that these footsteps are right above you, you also hear there are smaller sets as well. 2 smaller sets, specifically. And eventually you see other than the light, which has kind of been slowly like kind of illuminating from the ground up, which is the sort of like the last remnants of the lava intermingling with the slurry, beginning to kind of like illuminate the tunnels. You do see another source of light, which is the slurry tunnel breaking to a grating, which seems to just kind of like would be just about 2 feet wide. You get the impression it's just like an ease, so that any kind of hot gas that would build up down here would be able to be released without building up and causing. You guys are hot gas. Biggest compliment. I'm going to write that on all of your Valentine's cards. Lol. You're hot gas. So Slya, you know that would be why that kind of release was there, that kind of grating. You can pop your head up, pop your wisp up, and have a look around if you like. I wonder where your eyes are. Are you seeing in 360 degrees?
It's very confusing.
A 360 YouTube video.
Oh, I hate those. They scare me. I saw a TikTok where a guy was like, I'm at the highest place in California and I'm going to convince you that the world's round. All you flat earthers, flipped out this like selfie stick on like a 360 video, and it was like he was standing on the world. He was like, haha, lol, and then he stumbled and almost fell. What?
That's terrible.
I don't have a fear of heights or anything like that at all. I actually quite like being in high places, except when I see videos like that, and I'm just like, how? Or people doing reckless things. Like, I mean, I don't mind like parkour. I think that's cool because those people are trained and they know what they're doing. But like tourists who just kind of like hang off of buildings to take photos, I'm just like, you idiots. Anyway, sorry, that's a separate thing. I got distracted. You guys are not doing parkour, nor are you hanging off of buildings. You are smoke. Cloudcore. Cloudcore. Big poofy sleeves, all white, sheer fabric. Fluffy hair. Sunlight. That's an aesthetic. I like it. I'm gonna write that down.
In addition, Storm Cloudcore.
You can do. I think that might be it. That's it. That's what I want. Cloudcore. Not to be confused with Clowncore, which I'm sure is good.
Clowncore. Oh my god.
It does exist.
That's what my sad clown character wears. He's like sad Clowncore. Big white shirts and pom-poms with ruffles. So, I'm really off topic. You peep your head up, you peep your wispy heads up, you fly out. Slya, I think Slya, you kind of fly up first, and you immediately kind of like drop back down because you realise there is a distinct gap in the sort of like mist which is hanging up above the sort of like corridor you're in, and the space in between where it's a lot thinner, it's a lot more like see-through. And you kind of like, okay, you should probably time this to make sure that no one can see anything strange. Because you do see, when you pop up your head, you see there is an Ifrit escorting two Genasi. These are not the same Genasi you saw earlier, but they are wearing similar clothing. And the Ifrit is wearing similar armor. You didn't get actually a very good look at the Ifrit's face because unlike Genasi, where they have like kind of illuminated like skin and illuminated hair and eyes, which makes it very easy to see their features, Ifrit don't have that, so you can't quite tell whether this is the same person. But he appears to just be leading them through, and you notice that the fire Genasi are stumbling a little bit, like they're exhausted almost. And as they pass, you then can rise up quite carefully. Rise up carefully, and join the kind of collection of cloud at the top of the tunnel. So you are now out of the sewers and in what appears to be a corridor, man-made, rough stone, leading from behind to in front of you, and you see the back of the Ifrit and the fire Genasi. What would you like to do?
Can we tell any like details about this room that we're in, or corridor?
Sure. It's very rudimentary. Seems to be sturdily made. The outside of the forge was made of that hardened metal, which you know is quite indicative of this place. It's the most common metal used here. It's that cooling metal. The inside appears to be made of stone. And actually, as you kind of drift near it, you feel it with your form. You actually feel like it's remarkably cool, at least in this area. You probably get the feeling of the forge. The closer you get to the forge, the more likely it is to be hotter and hotter. But at least in this area, the stone is a little bit cooler than you were expecting. Still hot, but not burning hot. Other than that, it's a very unremarkable corridor.
Okay. Can we see like any like rooms coming off of this corridor, or just sorry, I'm trying to map this place out in my head.
It seems to what's funny about this is it seems to stretch for as far as your vision can go in either direction.
Okay.
It just seems to keep going. And the further it gets away, the more intense the cloud cover becomes, so much so that you can't see any offshoot of the corridor. I'm assuming everybody's above ground by now. Yeah. Look down. Just as you look down, you see that there are maybe where you originally saw only one of these grates leading in, there's actually a fair few more. And as you're kind of like looking around, you suddenly find yourself doubting which one it was that you came in through. Roll me a d4.
Okay. I was going to say, Slya does have a specific background feature.
Which is?
I have an excellent memory for maps and geography, and I can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around me.
Okay. So you have been able to do that pretty much uninterrupted. There's no problems for, the majority of your life based on your background. But there's something about here which is disorienting you, and you get the impression that you're fringing on. I'll say because of your background feature, that in this area you know that, okay, it's probably this drain that you came out of, and you do dip down and you can see that it is that one. But you're fringing on the edge of something magical that you don't quite understand, which you think might be messing with your perception.
Okay.
Oh no. Panic.
That's personally
That's like my one skill.
Yeah, so I won't make you roll the d4 in this instance based on that feature. But you get the impression that, you're fringing on something.
The edge of that, yeah.
You're on the edge of something. You're on the edge of
Can I roll an
disorientation.
Arcana check to see if I could determine what it is?
Certainly.
Okay. 29.
29. This seems to be... Hang on, let me just check. So it's not a specific spell. It's not a specific spell, or at least not one that Slya would know, but it does have a school of magic adjacent, so I'm just checking.
Just for reference, Slya has a plus 12 to Arcana.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seems to be illusion-based.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think just because of that was such a good Arcana check, you get the impression this place is magical as heck. And I think, Slya, you can... And Ulster, I think just passively you would be able to just infer this from the amount of time Slya has spent kind of drifting up and down and kind of moving back and forwards. That she's sort of there's something that is drawing her. And you two, I think, can just kind of passively feel that this is a very magical place. And entering into it through the drains here, you found the beginnings of something disorientating. So with that in mind.
I think with that in mind, going back down into that same drain, Slya's going to take them directly to the forge.
Sure. Okay. You slip back down and you flip directions and go straight back. So you make your way forwards, further and further and further, deeper into the drain. And here, the slurry begins to boil gradually, more and more, the closer you get to what you assume is the area of this forge which would be used as a drain. And I think the first thing you encounter, before you even see anything like a forge, is just a high-pitched noise. Like a noise a bird might make, kind of strangled, like a call. And it just kind of rings, like a dull noise constantly playing. Yeah.
Maybe an alarm spell going off?
No.
Okay.
Not quite like that.
Okay.
But now that you're considering that as a
Canary.
now that you're considering that as a thing you're thinking about, I will just let you know if you do hear anything like that.
Don't worry, we can zoom out of there real fast.
This is not at all magical. This is something that seems to be of a very unsettlingly human nature. And you get closer to it, and you realize that it's not any animal, and it's not any bird. It's the screams, just long, agonizing, and unrelenting screams of a person. And they curdle into these just kind of bubbled, melting groans until they fizzle out, snuffed to nothing. And then it's silent again.
Uwe.
From above you, you hear that. You hear that from above you. Let me just scroll through my notes.
Fun.
You don't see anything like the grates you saw leading the other direction. There are no releases over here, mostly because the tunnel that you're in begins to widen. Widen until it is almost maybe 7 feet across. And just ahead of you, you see the ceiling fall away. So that it's just an open U-shaped dip in a floor as it gradually leads upwards. You do see there is a collection of steam just kind of like rolling up the walls, which you think you could quite easily just jump over to. But I will make you just both make stealth checks with advantage, just to make sure that you can easily slip into that that steam kind of like routine. Yeah, and then
15.
Lauren passes. Sarah's passes. Okay. As a group, you are all fairly easily able to just kind of like adjust
One with the steam.
your forms to become one with the steam. You kind of create this like kind of steam-like wispy dance. And you just seem to just like roll off the walls and climb up. Very thankful in this instance for the cooling braces, which you know, even not being able to experience this heat, you know that they are the only thing standing between you and absolutely just passing out on death's door in this place. As it is like, good thing you bought those, isn't it? As the ceiling just kind of like falls away and you're left in this U-turn, not U-turn, this U-dip in the ground. It's just a wall of heat that you rise up into, and it gets hotter where you accumulate on the ceiling amidst the steam. And you see before you what appears to be a stone arch corridor, which leads with a dull light in one direction towards Slya. What you are pretty confident is the forge. There is a single fire genasi in this corridor tending to the slurry with a sort of a very small mesh net, just kind of like sweeping through it, occasionally just like kind of pulling out small congealed grey matter, which is just, it has a surface tension to it which reminds you almost of meat, but the inside is a gelatin like concoction, which they seem to be kind of like pulling back and then setting aside in a basin beside them. Make me a perception check, please.
Can I go with Slya?
Yeah, both of you, for sure.
Okay.
22.
Cool, yeah. I'll make sure to clarify a bit better who is doing what checks, sorry. But yes, you are both 22 and then Slya?
17.
17, okay. I think you're both able to see that this genasi does not look well cared for. They do not have any of the gear that you know that, for example, Captain Ballista wore to protect her throat and her mouth and her nose. Their eyes are watering, almost scrunched and wrinkled at the edges, where they are just trying to like keep their focus without getting too close to the flame. Their fingers and their hands are burnt almost so that the skin is clinging to the bone. They're barely like mobile, just sort of almost stuck in the position around this broom that they're holding, as though they have no choice but to keep working, for there is nothing else they can do with their hands. The clothing has not been washed, it seems, in a little while, but there is no indication of that other than it's just so sodden with sweat from this creature. There are no flies or any sort of bug which could accumulate here and live here that are able to kind of like, that would be able to sort of like show you how badly like their clothes have been festering. But you do see sort of just like hanging out in the corner of the rooms. One or two imps just cackling and just like laughing at the creature as the genasi, sorry, as it goes about its work. And also, with your higher perception, you can see movement from the end of the tunnel, where you believe the main forge would continue.
Great. Cool. Let's keep going.
You push inside. And almost as though moving through an optical illusion, the tunnel seems to stretch on much longer than you would have expected. From here, from where you first started, it looks like it only went on for like 10 feet or so. But it seems to go on further and further. And you just start thinking that this is ridiculous. This is not how it should go. We should be there by now. I need you to also make wisdom saving throws, please.
18.
Okay.
Oh, wait, was it more?
It would just be your regular wisdom. That's all. Okay. Regular wisdom plus same usual.
Yeah. 18.
Slya?
29.
Oh my god! You're a bee!
I rolled a 19 on the die, and then Slya has, proficiency in wisdom saves. So plus 10.
Right. Everybody seems to.
I don't know if I have advantage or not, though. That's what I was trying to check.
It's not an enchantment effect.
Charmed, yeah.
It's not a charmed effect. But it looks like all of you are able to shake off whatever it is as your 4 wisps of cloud push forwards following the lines of steam into the main forge itself. From your position where you exit, you can see the walls of this forge. This is the main floor you've entered into, or at least you assume it is, are smooth and lined with stone, shrouded in a fog which you are taking cover in now. You can see what appears to be an assembly line of workers, all genasi, or other fire-resistant creatures, but mostly genasi. 2 genasi, similarly to the one you encountered earlier, sift these sort of large like mesh basins through these lines of stone vats, which eventually cool into the same actually no, sorry, I'm making a mistake. Sorry. They sift these large mesh sheets through stone vats of this slurry, which you recognize fairly easily by now, while being closely watched by Ifrit guards. Another 2 hurriedly attach chain links to a track in the ceiling, which runs from the furthest wall through what appears to be just another larger hole a story up from you, which you haven't explored yet. They call out a warning before dropping the chains which they carry. They slam upon the floor heavily. And the moment they do, another pair of genasi workers hurry forward and begin to attach them to these cylindrical metal boxes that lie in the center of the room, dividing it into 2. So it's a perfect mirror image of itself, with vats of slurry, cylinders, vats of slurry, with workers in between. These boxes appear to be cylindrical, made of metal. The only other discernible feature here is a small funnel right at the center of them, with the sound of a gong, which is so loud that if you had ears still in these forms, you would have to clutch them to protect your drums. You can see vast vats of slurry begin to bubble and writhe. The fire genasi begin to maneuver their basin apparatus around, and like a strainer, it catches the thickest, most congealed aspects of the mixture. They lift it up out of the vat and over a drain and begin tossing it and churning it like butter, only stopping once all the watery remains have drained into a small dip in the ground, which then joins up with the sewer which you guys came out of. What's left in these mesh basins is, it resembles a thick sap in a sort of sack, a sort of like strange, like tense sack. It sloshes around like jelly, but looks still pourable. One of the Genassis kind of turns around and looks over their shoulder, as the Genassis who attached the chains to the cylinders in the center of the room hurry over and help to lift the whole mesh towards these like metal cylindrical boxes. And at this point, you can see up on the second or third level, maybe in between, there is a sort of metal walkway, which is welded into the walls. And beyond that walkway, there is a metal door with this sort of reinforced glass paneling on either side of it. And from the door, first of all, strikes you as strange because it is massive. It is at least 12 foot tall and maybe 8 foot wide, at the very least. The windows are about the same. The windows are about the same. And at this point, you feel the ground begin to rumble. The walls as well begin to kind of like shift as the fog that had pulled above your heads also is disrupted, and you kind of have to adjust your forms to sort of keep in time with it. And the Genasi all flinch as the door is opened, and you see two figures exiting out. The first figure you see appears to be some kind of humanoid. They are human presenting, with just a dark cloak covering over them, concealing most of their features. You can't quite see who it is, but average height, average build. You'd have to get a little bit closer if you really wanted to know who it was. Behind them,
or Sorelloras, I think.
Is it Sorelloras?
Sorelloras is very slender.
Yeah, so
make a perception, make an investigation check, Slia. Just based off of that real quick.
Can I do a perception on them?
Sure you can.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a lot of info, but let's see if that changes.
That is 15.
15. Oh boys. Okay.
Ryan's not rolling super well today.
Sorry?
Slia investigating the humanoid creature. The humanoid beside, well, the other figure you see.
Which is
Not quite as tall as Sorelloras. But they don't have anything that would label them as anything other than human. You don't see any kind of like horn protruding from their cloaks. You don't see any kind of like appendages like tails or wings. Could be fae, could be human. You don't know.
Could be Alarm.
Could be Alarm.
Oh.
We love
But
demons.
I will
devils,
say,
and archfiends.
you have seen a statue before, and you've met Alarm's followers before, and they all seem to have a very similar demeanor. They all seem to have a very similar look to them, except Cass, obviously. I think that from what Cass has described to you, you get the impression there is a connection. Ulster, with your 15, it's not as good as you usually roll, but it's still pretty decent. With 15, are you perceiving just the room in general? Is there anything you're specifically looking for?
I was trying to perceive the figures that came out the door.
Sure. The way they walk, they seem very assured, very, not to say comfortable with each other, but they're not considering the other person a threat, it seems. Co-workers, maybe. It's the odd thing that comes to mind. Just as a general, you got the impression that if one of these people is contracted with Alarm, then the other is likely the same. With everybody in here so far, you've seen, maybe, especially because you saw the Ifrit and the Fire Genasi earlier in the previous tunnels, and they all had a sort of like a similar look to what you'd expect to followers of Alarm. You get the impression that this place is, at the very least, owned by him, or he has subcontracted everyone here, which means they're bound to his service, certainly. The other figure you
Love
see,
that. Oh god.
the other figure you see is unbelievably thickly muscled, dense, and tall. They are fully red-skinned, so much that it looks like they are on fire from the inside out, just a constant flame burning beneath their skin. They have this sort of just like this like loose clothing which only covers just exactly what's necessary. Exactly what's necessary.
Crop top.
Cropped. He's in a crop top. Hell yeah, he's in a crop top and hot pants. Let's make this pit fiend less scary.
He looks like he's about to break into yoga size.
Oh my god. I gotta just throw away the whole description I wrote now because it's not.
I'll never live up to that.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But I feel like that
Well,
would
the
make him
most-
more scary if he's in a crop top and hot pants. He's so self-assured. He doesn't even need to wear armor. He is like so
says, I'm proud
comfortable
of
with
my
it.
body, and I've worked for this.
Hot fit. Okay.
Regardless, it looks as though whatever choice he has made here, fashion-wise, he does not need clothing because from over his muscles, his skin is hardened and shaped like natural armor. It sort of climbs up his neck in spikes and like kind of feelers. Stubby, he's not Bowser! He's not a turtle, he's got dragon wings!
It's fine. I'm terrified. Very scary.
He has gauntlets that look like they're made out of the femurs of humanoids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Big wings.
I'm
Little tears
sorry,
at the
Emma.
end. It's okay. Big wings, all tears at the end. When he turns around with his wings partially spread, you see there's an
He's
eye
very
tattoo on his back. One thing you do notice, and I think this is going to change the game a bit, his eyes appear to have been almost completely either removed or were never there in the first place. He just has empty black void-like sockets with flames in the center of them, flickering, and you've seen this before. You also notice the edges of his mouth have been partially sewn together at points with this sort of like barbs holding his jaw in place as if recovering from some long old wound. It seems like it hasn't caused him pain anymore. The scars look like they've mostly healed under his sort of like his stitches, but he has kept the metal in as some kind of like trophy of this injury. And I think maybe both of you can make me general intelligence checks. General intelligence.
Ah! Sorry.
16.
It's my pen scared me. Thought it was a bug. 21
21.
plus 3.
I think that this fight would have stuck in your mind somewhat. So I'm going to let you recall it. You've seen in the past mages who have this kind of look to them.
I remember.
Look to them.
I beheaded that one.
You did indeed. Who were able to summon fiends from where you do not know. However, there seems to be a distinct
The
connection.
siege, right?
Yeah,
The
both the siege and with Nakir, the one who like altered his memory. That like Flea
Harvesting the bodies.
Yeah. So, I think I don't need to say anything more. But in case it's not clear, there is a distinct link between the fiend creature that was seen in Melas, the person who summoned the fiend creature in Melas, and the person who wiped Nakia's mind whilst harvesting the bodies.
Now it's personal.
And now it's personal. And Taravine right here.
Why don't we just blow the forge up?
Because there are fire genasi in it. There are
But we
innocents
just-
in it.
We just blow it up.
Both of you are having these thoughts as
Bride doesn't have the
as-
voice of conscience right now.
as the Genasi freeze in place and watch in fearful reverence as Taravine kind of puts his hands on the railing in front of him and just kind of taps his fingers. And when they don't
yoga size
he
class.
starts doing yoga, they look in horror as he demonstrates remarkable flexibility for his muscled size. Yes, Leah.
It was just a thought of while they are out there and Taravine has clearly got his
Yoga going on.
Yeah, while he's got his yoga going on,
Yeah.
is there any chance we can use our steam speed to get
Oh
into
yeah,
the-
to zoom in.
To zoom in, where exactly are you zooming?
behind the cloaky figure and Taravine and, you know, just
Make me a stealth with advantage.
Alrighty. 17.
Cool.
say, actually.
Gonna go for the boys. Sarza. Fine. Loran. Ooh. Ooh. He's fine. As a group, to pass. Just about fine. It's a group check, so as long as everybody gets average over the DC, it's okay. And you definitely would have. So, you fly behind. Without flying directly underneath him, which would be just too far out of the general body of the steam you think to be natural, unless you really want to risk it. You can't quite catch a glimpse of this guy's face.
Do you want to interrupt the yoga size?
However, you do get just behind them as you hear Taravine say, "Oh, well, no, he's not going to sound scary at all. Any voice I do is going to sound ridiculous.
Side to side.
No, it's fine. He can still have an
I don't do
amazing
anymore.
No, it's too scary.
Scary. What's your point?
Hey, guys, it's Taravine here.
Come on, guys. What are you waiting for? Guys, you gotta unlock your chakras.
You've got at least 7 chakra points.
Wait, what's that hot? They're literally doing hot yoga. What's it called?
Bikram yoga.
Bikram yoga.
Come on, guys. You're gonna burn some mad calories right now. I learned this when I went on holiday to
That's why
India
I
to
built
find
it here.
myself.
The hottest place to do yoga.
Yeah, you want to become hotter, you gotta be in the hot place doing the hot yoga, you know?
I feel like it's slowly turning
I don't
into
know what this character is.
what's the name of the wow guy?
Wow, Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. Yeah, imagine if he sounded like Owen Wilson.
Wow,
This is
guys.
canon.
Wow, sure is hot in here. It's hotter than a road.
Oh my
lizard.
god, do you know exactly who it is? It's the
Wow.
ex-boyfriend from Meet the Parents. Meet the Parents, when Owen Wilson actually plays a yoga instructor, free spirited carpenter.
Wow.
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 Taravine opens his mouth and says, I don't want to do it!
He says, wow. That's
Hey, you would know.
We
how
will
did you
get
guys
that.
get
Is
here?
everyone feeling flexible today?
Was that a spit take?
Taravine shows up. Welcome to my Zumba class.
Avros's final
Yes,
form.
a size.
He's a
Taravine and Avros had something once in the past.
Oh
His-
That's where Avros got his whip from.
What? Taravine's attack is he throws a shake weight at you.
You just see Brian like having a breakdown. His cloud form. He's having a great time.
Just
A physical breakdown as this cloud begins to dissipate.
Nah, not for 8 hours.
The line I wrote is not at all gonna be.
Let's do it.
Wow.
Here we go.
You can do it.
I'm just gonna.
I'll do dramatic music.
I want to put some yoga music on it.
The Wii channel music.
And this is when I'm announcing my retirement from being a DM. Everyone, it's been a good run. But
Wait, no, hold on, I got it. Hold on. Yeah, I really got a really good one. You ready? I don't think you're ready for this. Go down.
Call me.
Taravine, say the line.
Taravine puts his hand on the metal railing and he leans over and he says, "What are you stopping for? You already know what happens to the last lot who missed their deadlines. Carry on."
Don't stop. Keep moving. Like Taravine said. Go.
It's good.
How do we do that with that?
Oh my god.
And to the beat of the song, at this point, keep it going. No, keep it going. Keep it going. I dare you. Keep it going. Encouraged by the threat from Taravine, the Genasi begin to pour the liquid into the boxes. At first, it goes in slowly. Then, as though the surface tension is broken, it flows freely. That's when you begin to hear the screaming. Not from outside or among your number, but from inside the box. As you all realize, in a horrifying moment of clarity, that perhaps the elven and fey bodies that they've been stealing are inside the cylinders and currently being turned into whatever they commissioned from Taravine. Did you enjoy that?
That was great.
That was great.
Yes.
Are you sure?
I hope Twitch doesn't mute
They're
that part, 'cause that was
screaming.
great.
There's a person in that cylinder being turned into melted mulch right now.
A fey person, yeah.
Yep. It could be Lucas.
It's
You
not
don't know
Lucas.
that.
It's definitely not Lucas. I know it's Scream.
I know it's screaming.
I know it's Scream.
Nikia.
He's
They've
fine.
got him once, they'll get him again.
Nothing bad can happen when we have Cole and May playing. We should just play it the whole way through, so nothing bad can happen.
Anyway.
This is
So-
like creeping mechanism.
Slia, how does Slia feel right now? Because they're not doing yoga. I feel like I need to clarify that they're not doing yoga.
What? Oh.
I mean,
just
At best, he's doing some like arm stretches like this, just like nonchalantly watching as the Genasi that he's all but enslaved are pouring this hot boiling liquid into this casket essentially, and turning this whoever is in there who you don't know into a commissioned body for one of his clients. And that's what you see.
I was eating at the wrong time. That's all I'm gonna say.
Flea feels like she just wants to like push Taravine off the ledge.
Yeah,
It's fun.
just give him a push. Push on the douche.
You hear whimpering from the surrounding cylinders as other Fae who you assume are waiting inside of them just know what's coming and they cannot escape.
Wah.
The Genasi, one of the Genasi you notice begins to cry as the last of the substance is poured into the funnel, and the mechanism, which is kind of like across the ceiling, begins to lift up the chains, and the cylinder rises and begins to be carried off like an abattoir, rising a carcass through that
Can we
tunnel that you
leave?
saw earlier.
Can we go away now?
You look
we
behind
stop?
you, and you see that you are approximately next to what appears to be the foreman's office, which has its own entrance, which which has from the outside a walkway and its own entrance, which you would imagine is separate and leads onto the bridge that you saw outside of the forge, which led here, and it has another door on the inside. So, one main entrance and one back entrance. And also there's the tunnel, which the body box has gone through.
Woo.
Can we get a look inside the office while we're...
Sure. You can look inside and you see that it's a very simple office. There is only here ledgers and shipments in the which are closed on the desk, and they have dates on the front, and they appear to actually be ledgers within the last like week or so. It seems that at least here they don't keep any documents that go back any further than that. You can't really interact with anything. However, you do see the back door has it appears to be locked, but there is a keyhole which has a gap in it. Otherwise, it is almost completely impenetrable around the door, which you could get through if you wanted to look behind that door. In your cloud forms.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Despite the musical interlude, I am very disturbed.
Yeah.
That's fine. Through the keyhole. What's funny is you're doing everything I've written in reverse, so I need to just take a moment to... Yeah. Okay. As you go through the keyhole, I think that considering you're very aware of the arcane nature of this place, and specifically, Slya, you were looking out for this kind of spell. The closer you get, the more concerned you become to, if this is a locked door, you get the impression there might be an arcane lock-up on it as well.
In which case, she will do the...
Diagonal move?
Yeah. We should probably not go through that door, because that would be probably really bad.
Okay. Wow, can't you imagine all of us just in cylinders? Yay!
As you guys are kind of hovering around the room, like kind of just sticking to the ceiling where you know there is some smoke, you hear rumbling as Taravine makes his way across the floor, shredding his yoga wristbands. And
Loran, it's on you. You have to seduce Taravine.
Loran starts just spinning around and around. And you get the impression he's heading towards you, towards that door.
You spin me round, right, round,
Round,
round.
Like a record, baby.
And there's no other exit out of this one, other than the one that he just came in.
Make a perception check.
Thank you, Slya. Thank you for seeing things. Actually seeing things, 23.
23. Like most of the rooms here, there is a small vent in the ceiling. You saw a lot of chimneys kind of reaching up out of this place. Otherwise, it was mostly just a smooth, kind of like unassuming cube. You saw a lot of chimneys leading out of this place. So you assume that goes to one of those that connects with that. Otherwise, you only see the door you came in through and the door that Taravine is heading to.
Basically, Slya's little like smoke thing is gonna just point up at the indicate the vent in the ceiling, unless we want to go back through the door.
Yeah, you can only kind of rise to it. You can't really like make any kind of specific shapes, but you can like kind of just hover.
Yeah, just hovering.
Rhyme will follow soon.
Okay. Actually, this vent leads you to another sort of like tunnel system, a little bit similar to the ones that you came in through, although just slightly more confusing to follow.
I'm realizing the only way through this is possibly through Windwalk, which means we're going to have to go back and do this again with everyone else. But at least we know.
You kind of, the moment you go through that vent, you get the impression that any route could take you where you want to go, and you're not quite certain which way to choose. And as you turn, you're kind of like looking between them, you start to forget where you originally even came in from. And you look down and you have that same disorientation again, as it looks like there's at least 4 vents beneath you. And at this point, I'll have you make a wisdom saving throw, please.
All of us.
Yep.
Fuck.
25.
25? 22. Okay. You feel like from leaving the main forge
I've got
area.
the right people to do this.
Yeah, you guys are okay.
I was doing.
Oh. Okay, yeah. In leaving the main forge area, you are leaving what you would consider to be a fairly safe zone, ironically, in terms of the magical effects, considering there are workers there who either just seem to be indispensable enough that they don't deserve anything that would give them immunity to this, to the extent that they've just decided, it seems, to set the limits to being this main forge area and that slurry pipe. So you have a very decent map in your mind of where these confusion-based illusions begin. So you get the impression that if you went through the slurry and you turned straight into the forge room, you would be able to circumvent most of the illusion magic. The only thing that you would need to worry about is if you see any locked doors. Based on what you experienced in the foreman's room, they're probably alarmed. And now that you guys have all passed the wisdom save, you can slowly make your way through this vent and follow it to its natural end, which appears to lead you to the outskirts of the forge itself, to a corridor which resembles, kind of, funnily enough, exactly the one you came in through. And you can go left or right.
Do we have any sort of orientation at this point as to just what the exit would be?
You'd have to probably go down.
Okay. So I guess... Oops, sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say you'd have to look for a way down.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to find out where that window was.
I definitely think that the window is a terrible idea, but it would be a good idea to try to figure out where it goes.
Okay. So you kind of start looking around and you realize that this corridor, it doesn't actually have any kind of windows at all. It only has grates like the one you came out of lining the wall.
Okay.
If you turn, you kind of, I think using your background as an advantage here, you can navigate the grates enough, considering that you have now fended off this kind of confusion. You can now probably navigate back down to what you came in through.
Okay.
I have a question just about the spell alarm, because I was looking at Windwalk and seeing just all the... I was in Reddit, of course, the good forums. So alarm is specifically for creatures in the tiny to large range. Windwalk isn't... They're not creatures technically, they're gaseous forms. So would they even trigger an alarm unless they transformed back?
That's a good question. I'm going to Google and see if a gaseous form is a creature. Is considered a creature. Gaseous form.
Because they have no... Scientifically, no, but maybe D&D has another...
Because I was thinking, like, the reason, like, Slya kind of, like, pulled them back was because more of she thought that even if, like, it wasn't, like, an alarm spell, there could be some sort of damaging trap that could try, like, do something that might revert our forms.
Okay, can you hold on to that for 1 sec whilst I just figure out the first thing?
I'm also on the forums.
It's okay.
Because incorporeal.
Give me a sec, I'll make a call in a second. I'm just having a look in the forums.
There's some really disturbing questions in here. When in
Oh,
gaseous form, can you go inside another creature's body? What do you
I
think
saw
will
that
happen?
too. I saw that too. Hang on.
Ouch. That's what.
Gaseous form. Okay. Misty cloud.
Just based on the fact we can't take physical actions, it also suggests we don't have a body of any kind.
You can take actions. It's just the actions you can take are limited to dashing and transforming. Okay, I'm gonna say that probably right. I'm gonna say, just for the sake of saving time and that I can't figure out the answer right now. No, you probably wouldn't trigger an alarm spell, but that might change depending on when I have more time to look it up. So for now, yeah, probably not. And
transfer back.
Slya, what was your question?
Oh, it wasn't so much a question so much as like Slya's thought process was like, if we went through the keyhole and there was some sort of trap that maybe it wasn't an alarm, that there are something that could turn us back.
You have no idea what the limitations of this spell are beyond
Exactly.
what Allstar knows, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to tell you briefly.
Yeah,
but
I was just explaining her thought process as to why she pulled them back as opposed to trying to go through.
Cool. Okay, and you guys are able to kind of make your way outside of the building once more with Slya's knowledge of maps, etc. And we were going to cut over to the other three. Hey guys, so traveling back in time. You three kobold revolutionaries watch as your flashback act to the present time. You three kobold revolutionaries kind of hold up in your in the cave that you guys have set up as your base. Is there anything you want to do, anything you want to achieve in the time that your compatriots are gone?
I want to go PIRL while the other two figure out stuff to do.
Sure.
Right back.
Okay, I would say that we'd be setting up like constant vigilance and checks.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we don't want to do too much. We've done a kind of investigation on the way into the forge and kind of come up with what we have. And I feel like we wouldn't want to be doing that more. And I wouldn't want to be exactly like looking around because we know that there is like a lot of Ifrit within our area.
Sure. Keeping louder, keeping on the low.
I think just staying low, hunkering down, keeping vigilant though.
For sure.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Unfortunately.
For sure.
I'm looking at my actions and like one
That's
of these
fine.
is like make a loud noise and it's like, well, I don't want to do that.
Amazing. Okay, so would you guys like to set up watches and would you like to make me some perception checks for those watches, please?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Who's going to go first?
Let's do that. Well, me or Anna, since Thomas ain't here.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go first then.
Okay.
All right. Perception, yeah?
Indeed.
Dirty 20.
Oh yeah. You see where you kind of like enter out of the cave and move into a more slightly more visible area, though still making sure to maintain cover. From here, you can't see much beyond the chain which you walked in from, and just the far beginnings of the bridge, which you know leads into the main entrance of the forge. The only kind of man-made structure that leads to the forge itself. You do hear a rumbling, a kind of like from beneath the ground, a little bit louder than what you're used to. This kind of like, just sort of like low hissing noise that, whilst it's always been there, seems intensified somewhat. But other than that, nothing.
We don't see anyone going in or out of the forge.
The only way you'd be able to check that is by looking up and investigating the window, or going a little bit further out and investigating the end of the bridge that you saw.
But that would make me quite visible, would it?
You can roll a stealth check and see if you could hide yourself.
My stealth is freaking poor, so I'm just going to be like, cool, and back.
Amazing.
I am hunkering down, and I am not interested in making myself visible.
Cool. All right. Next up is Bluey, please.
Okay.
Make your way out. What would you like to investigate? Roll me a perception check.
Perception, I think 16.
Okay. You can see a similar extent to what Cass can, though maybe you're a bit more dazed because you're still kind of like a little bit jumpy seeing the lava from your experience there previously. You also hear that rumbling, intensifying ever so slightly.
Just looking at my skills list, if there's anything. There's no way I could like nature check that noise. Be like, is that like
Sure. Yeah.
humanoid making that
Ooh.
sound? I mean, I'm terrible at it, but
Go for it.
okay, 12.
12. Seems natural. Doing your nature check.
It's the volcano. I can hear how much of a delay there is between how. Oh, sorry. Go on, Anna.
Anna, what did you say?
I'm just wondering if Louis can hear like if there's like bodies, people screaming. I don't know if that's like the.
You can't hear that. You do know that when you knew that when you came in, you saw people moving, mostly Ifrit moving on the bridge itself, but they seemed very calm. You could check again and just see. But you'd have to stealth to move out that far on the rock to get a good look with being confident that they wouldn't be able to see you. You could go without stealthing and just hope that nobody perceives you.
I am a kobold to the world.
Yeah?
I'm gonna ask Neff and Cass. Should I like try and like take a look? I mean, I'm disguised.
Can I do some sort of check to see if I can figure out how far away the noise is?
Make a nature check or a perception check. You can choose.
I guess perception if I'm just trying to find the distance, maybe? Or
Sure.
Okay. Neither of these skills are pretty good. Oh! That's a 19 on perception. It's a good roll for Neff.
Okay. It seems like it's coming from deep beneath you. Beneath your feet.
Deep beneath my feet. Blue, I don't know if we're necessarily going to be able to see anything. I think it's coming from deep beneath us.
Okay.
I don't know if
I
that's...
think it's the volcano as opposed to that, and I think we could see something interesting by going out, but we also could risk ourselves. So let's stay hidden. Oh, also, out of character, this is Georgia. Because of the Wi-Fi, there was a definite delay when I hear things and when I speak to when you guys hear me and when you speak. So if I end up cutting people off, that's kind of what's happening, and I don't intend to, and I'm sorry.
That's fine.
That's okay.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
So as the three of you begin to huddle up and hunker down, you notice that the noise only gets louder and stronger. Just a constant thrum until you feel the sort of like the ground of your cave beginning to rumble. So much so that the stones and the rocks are almost jumping off of the ground.
Okay.
Can I make a check to see whether it's a case of we should move from where we are, and because is our area going to kind of collapse type vibe?
Okay. Survival check.
Could I
Survival
also...
or investigation?
You can do.
Could I argue that it's an investigation? That I'm investigate? Yeah.
I do survival then.
Yeah.
You can do survival.
That's 24.
Okay. Sorry, I'm eating Pocky if you can hear it.
24 survival. Sorry.
Nice. No.
Nice. All right.
both of you,
Going to live.
survival check first of all. Bluey, this cave that you're in is rapidly showing more and more of the signs of an unsafe place to rest. As it begins to rumble, Rebel and debris begins to slowly kind of slip off the walls in small chunks, but you don't know how long it will stay small for. Cass, your investigation kind of just naturally draws you outside, and you see that the lava level that was once 10 feet away has risen to like 7 feet in about the 10 minutes or so you guys have been pulling out.
We need to.
Oh.
You know that the forge itself is mostly suspended above these sort of like rock layouts, although partially submerged in the lava. And the chains which are supporting it are beginning to pull incredibly tight. And this is where we're going to converge between the two. As you look up, Cass, and you see the window that was at the top of that building is now thoroughly closed, and the three of you inside.
Oh shit!
Three of you inside the drains.
Oh god!
Four of you
Sorry.
inside the drains realize all at once.
Wait, sorry,
Emma? Sorry, yeah.
The sound and Wi-Fi went really bad, and there was a lot of interference. I didn't hear any of that. Could you please?
What was the last thing you heard?
I've got chains holding something getting tight, and then you're converging the two, and something about a window.
Sure. Okay. The chains that are suspending the structure in the lava have pulled completely taut. You can see, Cass, as your investigation check takes you outside, that the window on the third level of the forge has thoroughly closed. And this is where the convergence is. The four of you, as you begin to exit out through the sort of slurry drain that you came into,
cool.
There is a grate beginning to descend over the front of it. What do you do?
A day in the forge, guys, because the lava's going to get worse outside.
I love how gleefully Emma asks. He's like, everything's falling apart. It's all crumbling down around you.
We can't get to you guys in time. We know Neff has teleportation magic.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to trust Neff that if this is going to go horribly wrong, they can get out and we can get out after.
Yeah.
After doing a bit more exploration.
I still have Word of Recall anchored to...
Neff, you and Bluey, I think both would follow Cass out, as it is unmistakable now that there is something wrong here. And the rocky outcropping that you guys have been sitting on underneath the forge, underneath kind of like the main body of it, is slowly just filling with lava as the sort of sea around you, sorry, it's not lava, it's magma, slowly like rising with magma, as the sea around you becomes increasingly more violent. And I think at this point, you guys have had to move to high ground enough that, Cass, you can see a little bit past the forge now. You can see a little bit more of the bridge than you previously could. I think you have the highest passive perception of the three. Who's got the highest passive perception?
I have 16.
Yes,
I have 13,
I've got 17.
Okay, Cass, you see first, followed by Bluey and then Neff. That the Ifrit are calmly making their way inside the forge, but are making sure to hurry any of the material objects on there as quickly as they can inside. You can get the impression this place might be about to go up in flames.
So we either need to get into like the forge, the front doorway, or we need to do something, but we need to go now.
Okay.
Well, whatever we decide to do.
Door, but like.
Yep. I also have a Word of Recall still set up. Worst case scenario if we really need to get out of here. That'll teleport us back to the inn, I think.
Also remember Brian needs to rest after.
Do we want to try and like sneak in the front door, or do we want to teleport in, guys?
How are those slurry outlets? They're
The
much
slurry
further.
Okay, there are two
I don't
within your
think
reach.
that they're great.
There is one which,
No,
if you are careful, you could reach over ground. However, that option is rapidly closing to you, and you also realize that that is one of the grates which is closing. The other one, you can't quite see it properly. There is still slurry pouring from it. You'd have to figure out a way to get over there without touching the lava. Guys, the game is the floor
I think
is
we need to
lava,
stealth in the
except
front
it's real
door.
now. That time in the Feywild was just a practice for this. So,
Okay, I'm going to say I vote sneak in front door. Who's with me?
I trust you, Cass.
Or who wants to go with the crate?
sneaking in the
Because
front
I feel like
door.
the crate is very, very risky.
Or you could just
Well,
leave.
because the way I'm saying a pause is like I'm looking at the crate, and I'm just not sure that that is going to be safe.
Small side thought. So, the Cloud Crew, as I'm going to call us for the moment.
Yes.
We can see the grate closing. Are we going back inside, or are we trying to leave it?
That's a very good point. I think you guys have to figure that out by yourself. You see Sarazar is beginning to kind of like jump across the walls. Like,
I want to try and circle the group to keep them in because I'm putting my trust in Neff to get them out if necessary because I think we were always going to try and get out anyway.
Outside of the High Solarian.
No, I'm pretty sure Neff did another word of recall in the inn, didn't you?
Which inn?
I'm only saying the inn because you said I did it, but the last one I remember is the High Solarian.
Oh,
Because you can't teleport in and out of you can't teleport in and out of the city of Brass.
Yeah.
You can only
Okay,
teleport
then
in and
I
out of the surrounding area. But
Okay, Cass turns to the both group. We need to get inside that forge. Are we going for the great option or are we going the front door? But we need to make that decision now.
Brian said you were the most
I
competent
can only
of us,
dimension door
so I
one
trust your
creature.
decision.
I guess whichever one gives us more time to
lava's slowly rising.
You're going
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm ready to work.
Neff, you have to move a little bit closer to the others to stop yourself from being kind of just like your toes from being burned off.
I'll do that. I don't want to say Brenda.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we got. Okay, can I just because we've had a lot of time to look at them. So which is which would be the quickest way in?
The quickest way in would be getting in through perhaps the other slurry drain, which is, from what you're aware, not closed yet. The safest way you can, with the one you have the most time getting into, would probably be the main entrance. Sorry, safest in terms of you have the most time to get to it, will probably be the main entrance because the E3 on the bridge don't seem to be in any hurry and there is still cargo on the bridge waiting to come in. But that is also very quickly closing.
Okay.
That frame of opportunity.
Okay.
And
then
we could use
the
our
window is just
revolutionary personas.
You've deferred to Taravine. They clearly didn't like him.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it doesn't quite fit in with the narrative. I think front door.
I mean, I could use all my spell slots and dimension door us in, and then come back and get one person and dimension door back. That would be me out of spell slots, but I could do it if need be.
You've two
But
spell slots.
I just
You could
Bluey could
dimensional one
hasten.
in, dimensional
Oh, yeah,
out,
I could run in.
and then you wouldn't be able to get back in.
Bluey did her
no
haste.
3 because I have them.
Oh,
she
right.
Power.
rested, so it should come back. So,
Doesn't let me check.
What did you say, Aylin? Sorry,
oh,
the Wi-Fi cut you off.
You guys have to make a decision quick.
Bluey did a short rest, so she should have her boots of haste working again.
It's a long rest.
Oh.
Oh,
All stare as
Okay,
well.
Cass
You see
grabs
Saraz's cloud
Neff.
begin to calm. What you assume is Saraz's cloud begin to calm down as the grate fully closes.
Okay, is the grate fully closed
On one
on our
side,
or we still
from what you can
assist
see.
We've got to
It looks
trust
like-
you guys.
It looks like it's a one at a time kind of process. You see that one fully close, and
Okay.
suddenly on the other side, the slurry flow begins to just dwindle slightly.
Okay.
Cass
Just
grabs
go.
Neff, dimension doors her to that slow grate, and just basically puts her in it and somehow gets her in there.
Okay, the moment you appear inside, you realize there are, similar to the other grate which the others saw, there are some small handholds, but mostly the most fun thing in there is just a ledge. Luckily, because this grate, like I said before, is mostly out of the it's mostly out of the lava, especially now that it's starting to get slowed. It's bloody hot in here, and you do still see that the slurry is boiling. However, the lava flow coming in is being cut off. So it's not increasing,
Okay,
it's only maintaining its level of danger.
dumps Neff at a safe ledge and just dimension doors immediately to go get Bluey and brings her back as well. It's just
Okay. 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, 6 seconds in, and you are all inside that drain as it
and Cass is just like,
closed.
all right, okay. Like I feel like they want to move. We should be moving in the grate as far as we possibly can, getting away from slurry and things.
Okay.
Guys, can we just clarify? Ayla and I were just discussing. I have a false memory, I think, of Neff creating Word of Recall, but now I don't know if we should check that or not, because that seems like a big thing.
I don't remember if I've done that or not. The last place I remember doing it is High Slarian, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember what I would have
We'll
done.
have to go off your... Yeah.
I don't remember doing it, but I could check the
I'm
notes.
going to just trust Thomas. I have a memory of Neff doing it, but it might be a false memory, so I'm just going to say if Thomas doesn't remember, then
I've got an
I
idea.
mean,
you might have trust my memory.
it'd be weird to do it in the city because presumably.
Because far as I remember, we just kind of snuck in, got there, and we've just been doing stuff the whole
Yeah.
time. We've been like in the inn, but I've been like with Slee the whole time, kind of thing. I was keeping an eye on the moss. Then I was.
Yeah, it might just be a false memory on my part, but...
Neff, I think I remember what you did. Did you maybe try and make your temple?
Yeah, I was just jokingly like, what if I made it on top? And they were saying like, oh, there's no
Maybe
two-story
that was
buildings.
it? I don't remember.
I probably have a false memory, so I'm just going to trust Thomas's memory on this one.
Okay.
All right, so firmly inside the forge, the drains closed upon you, both of you. This is going to affect one team more than it's going to affect the other team.
I wonder
Clouds.
which one.
Hey guys, Cloud team. You notice the slurry begins to build up in your corridor, forcing you into a smaller and smaller space. It takes about maybe 6 or 7 minutes to fully reach the ceiling. By this point, you probably would have already moved.
No, let's get out and go somewhere safe.
Yeah, you would have like guessed that was about how long it would
The
take.
second is moving, like, no.
The other team, you have about 5 minutes to get out of here. So,
Okay, we're going
I'm gonna
quick.
start the clock. Have fun. Right. So, you guys are going to be now undertaking what I like to call a skill
That was
test.
the face, Aelin.
Which
Timer?
one?
That's my mood right
All
now.
right.
5 minutes. Let's start. Don't die. Okay. Tell me what you're doing to get out of here before the lava reaches the top.
Okay, so we can move through. What can we see? Like, all I know is
Ahead
I'm
of
on a
you,
ledge.
you
and
can
I'm in a
see the
slurry
tunnel
pit.
stretching forwards for approximately 30 feet before it
Okay,
begins to dip
we're moving
slowly
forward.
upwards. Okay, I need all three of you to make me
We're going.
either athletics or acrobatics checks. Similar. Funnily enough, Cass and Bluey, very similar to how you first got in here.
All right, I'll do acrobatics.
I can't
Hope I don't get
polymorph you guys
stuck
if you
again.
fall. I can't polymorph you.
Okay.
Okay.
21.
21
21.
if you die.
Louis?
We can bring you back. We have your scales, but
That one. Okay. You have to move quickly. Fuck.
I rolled a nat one as well.
that one.
Ah!
Emma's face.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Cass is the only
Um,
survivor.
Cass,
We have 10 days to bring you back. It's fine.
I'm going to turn off the timer. You got a 21, Cass? You can
Yeah.
you can attempt to save one before they fall. Who do you choose?
God, no! I can't do that!
Wait, what? I've been going through
Oh, I've been waiting for a moment like this. This is
Falling
great.
in the-
Hi.
You're falling in the boiling.
Wait,
You're falling in the boiling
wait.
cloud of lava.
No.
Cass is
Lava
gonna have to
esque
save one of you.
No.
So, Cass, who do
Is
you
there
choose?
nothing I can do? Hang on.
Can I cast and do a thing on? Like, can I use an action on my turn?
No.
I'm
you're
gonna
falling.
I
point at
Unless you
Bluey.
have a reaction that can save you.
I do have an action that
I
might
can
be able
cast-
to, but
Unfortunately, you don't have an action. Not yet.
okay.
Oh.
I don't even know if this would work, but this...
I can cast floating death.
Is
Can I do that?
This
to
is a
catch both of
reactionary
them?
thing. It's going to be a strength save to see which one. of
Who
you
are
get.
you grabbing, Cass?
Oh.
You have to pick one.
This is awful. Don't make me do this.
Strength
All
saving
they
throw.
both die.
You have to choose. Or choose neither.
No.
Well, I can't choose neither. Okay, so is there anything that they can do to save themselves?
Yes.
To like react?
Do you have a
But-
reaction?
Well,
Okay, I'm
new
gonna have to pick Bluey because I know Neff has word of recall.
even though that. Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Does she have time
I've-
to cast it?
yeah?
Can
You'll have to survive the round to cast it. Okay. So what I want you all
So
to
Neff's
do.
leaving.
Okay. So
I don't know if I can teleport out there.
This is
Unless I catch Neff because Blue is stronger. I don't know.
you have to choose. 27 seconds.
Oh my God, this is very stressful. I don't know.
I won't
what to
take
do.
your answer
I
until
hate
the
you,
timer
Emma.
goes. You have up until the time. You have 20 seconds to choose.
Look, I go.
They both rolled nat ones. You don't get a save when it's a nat one.
you know Brian can bring them both back,
She's
but this is
gone.
awful.
7 seconds. You have to
She's
give me a name while they're both
going for
falling.
Bluey because Neff just has word of recall.
Make a
If Neff
strength.
didn't have word of recall, she would have gone for Neff.
Okay. Make a strength saving throw, please, Bluey. Please, Cass.
Oh no, Sarah's a
Okay, well, it wasn't very good, so I'm gonna roll a d10 because I can bump that because of being.
Come on, get the nat one now.
Okay, that is a 14.
14. It's okay. 14. You grab Bluey by the scruff and you manage to hold her back up onto the wall just, and you watch as Neff just falls back first into this slurry, and it immediately starts boiling away at her skin.
Oh no.
Now,
Oh Tell me when I can act to try and pull her up.
I would
because
also
that
like
be
to
the
act
first
when I
thing.
Yeah,
can.
can I? Now that I've
We
got
go
Bluey
first.
up, can I do anything?
after this, we're gonna do. I will let you guys both roll initiative rounds.
How long does it? I'm gonna look up. How long does it take to die of boiling water?
Page 249.
Thomas and Neff.
I'm sorry.
Fuck. Okay.
I assure
You
you,
get through a lot of layers to get to the.
I
Two
didn't
to 3
want to
minutes
roll
and
that
you're
one.
dead.
To be fair, I
As long as your head
picked
doesn't go under.
Bluey because you went. I said, "Is there anything that anyone can do?" You went, "Yes."
It isn't
so I went
water,
for
by the way. It is a mixture of lava, rock, slurry.
I'm just going off an approximation.
yeah, I have a multitude of things I can try as a spellcaster, so don't worry.
I don't think I have
That-
enough.
yeah.
dice.
I feel it's going to be
That's why
faster because you're going all under.
I can.
Yep. You are. Yeah.
If
At the moment
I
you
can get a
can't
hold
roll
of Neff, I can do spare the dying, and that's kind of.
I don't have enough.
Grab
dice.
her boiled corpse.
I'm kind of shaking a bit. This is kind of scary.
I can do spare the dying myself as well.
Neff, you really do get put through the ringer. Yeah.
Remember, I was like, I haven't died yet.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
Don't worry, it's fine. Round 4, I can do it.
Cass
Fourth
is
death.
crying, by the way. She saved.
Why is it always that?
She saved Bluey, but she is crying and is not happy.
Oh boy.
It's a horrible decision.
Alright, so you can't like action surge not in your turn, right? That's not how it works yet.
I'm really surprised if Nick makes it out of this again.
Thank God.
Cursed
Thank God you
character.
have max hit points. That's all I can
have your
say
hair.
because I feel
Yeah,
like
and you had the
True.
plus 15 to your HP.
Yeah, plus 15 to your max, so
Yeah, now I have 116 total.
you're exactly the same as me.
to be fair, I should have let Bluey
Emma's
die.
rolling
because
a lot of
Bluey
dice though.
has more hit points.
I think I might be able to get out of this.
Yeah, Bluey has.
Basically, the one.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
try.
that was basically the deciding factor, was that Neff has some stuff that she could do, whereas Bluey is just not just strong, but like
She can't
Stop.
punch boiling magma.
no.
What are you doing?
A lot of
Please
math.
tell us.
Emma!
Oh no, I got more dice.
I want to take an action.
Neff, how many hit points do you have?
Currently, I have a total of 104.
Yeah. But it should. You should be have the.
You should
15.
be.
should have max.
You'd be maxed out.
I was under the impression that you increased my max, but I was just healed, and so
Yeah,
if I didn't,
increased.
yeah,
You
so
were
I,
healed, and then your max increased plus 15.
yeah.
So you should be same as me, 116.
Wait, but I didn't like heal some amount, and then you healed me for like another 50 on top. Like, let's say I had 80 HP, and you gave me 10, so I would be at 90, right? For example, and then you increase my max by 15. Then my max would be like
Yeah, but so you
116,
healed
but I'd
to
still be at 90, right?
No, but you guys, you healed
So you
yourselves
healed
to
us
the
to the
max with
max.
all your.
Yeah, with your hit dice, right?
I didn't, not
You
completely.
didn't heal.
But yeah, you would
No, but
still.
I feel like everyone did.
This is a.
You were to the max, Nerf.
Shut up, now.
No, I didn't.
Lava
I didn't heal
and
that
ice
way.
bomb
You
is-
could be 104, you could be 104.
I only used a.
Retcon this one thing.
Is there
Your
anything that's
max
going to help by Emma's
would be
face?
116 though right now. Even if you didn't.
You take
use-
5,000 points of damage, so it doesn't matter.
At the very entrance to this. At the very entrance to this slurry vent, like I described before, the slurry here is the most intermingled with lava. Going by the player's handbook,
Oh god.
it describes being submerged in lava as 18d10.
Okay,
If you take 107 points of damage as you are fully submerged in the lava.
Okay, I'm dead.
Neff, you were. No, we made sure that everyone was maxed out. That was the whole point of that rest.
I'm pretty sure I
It
wasn't. I think
depends
I was at
on
104.
how many hit dice an
Yeah.
individual player
And I
chooses
used.
to use.
I hate you,
I
Thomas. I
chosen-
hate
But
you.
I hate you.
Even not using your hit dice at all, you still would have your max HP for the next 8 hours is 116.
I know that's the max, but that's not what my current would be, because current and max are two different things.
Yeah.
So
But
my
just to
current
put
is
that out
104.
I
Your
hate,
max
Fucking way.
I
No.
hate you, Thomas. I
Because
hate
then,
you.
oh,
So it can't kill you outright, is what I'm saying.
But okay, 107, did you say?
are-
Alright, well, so much for taking my move. I am down to death
Yep.
saves.
Okay.
I just need to check something.
Alright, welcome back, death saves. How I've missed thee.
yeah, but boiled alive, and there's no, and Neff's the only healer.
Well, I had like 4 different things I wanted to try, but I guess it's too late for that.
I'm just reading real quick.
Okay.
We don't know what's happening
No,
unless
we
Cass
don't.
messages us.
Cass
I'm sorry.
is incapable of messaging anyone right now. Cass had to choose between her two friends. Her gut was to save Neff, but then Neff has magic, so I went with Bluey.
But she can't use it if she did. Oh,
I was banking having at least one shot, but that's the gamble of being an adventurer, you know.
We can bring you back. Okay, I just want to lay that down.
Yes.
If you die, we can bring you back.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Grab some of her flesh.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
Cass and Bluey, your first instinct is to do something to save her. And it's kind of funny because you kind of, looking back, think that all the times you envision what would happen if you'd fallen. You kind of imagine splashing about in like almost similar to how you would fall into water, being able to partially rise out a few of your limbs and reach out for your friend. But lava is far more viscous. Neff doesn't so much fall into the lava as she falls onto it. And you watch as all that is her begins to melt away into the flame. Neff, it's so hot. It's so painful. You're almost numb to it. because every wound you immediately receive is cauterized in a moment, and then there's just nothing there to feel the pain. And you just close your eyes as you sink beneath. No death saves. No damage rolls. You guys know Neff hasn't made it. She's genuinely just dead at this point.
Dead.
I have your hair.
I should have gone with my gut and said, Neff, Sarasa is gonna kill me.
If I had a moment, okay, I don't know if any of you guys have seen Terminator 2.
Is there anything you would like to do in the moments before? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if any of you guys have seen Terminator 2 in like the last moments when the Terminator sinks beneath the lava, where he does like the hand is just like kind of sinking down underneath and does the thumbs up just before he sinks completely underneath. I'm gonna do that because it's been. If these are her last moments, she doesn't know, but. It's been good adventure until this point.
Oh my god.
I'll bring you back.
For all the times you joke about, I've died so often, this is the first time you've actually died.
Yeah, this is the first time I've gotten past the death saving throws.
Everybody in the other tunnel, trusting in your party members to save themselves, you begin to make your way back inside, managing to escape the slurry before it completely fills the space around you. What do you do?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Can we just have like a moment to just get out of that mind space so we can react without knowing?
Yeah.
Just mourn Neff.
Cass and Bluey, you don't have time to mourn. You have to keep moving.
Oh, there's nothing there.
Right.
Is there nothing of her that is grabbable?
It's all just colour seeping into the lava at this point, into the slurry. She's still technically there, but reaching to try and grab her now would be to reach into molten lava and taking damage yourself.
And like,
you'd lose your hand. You'd lose.
Spare the dying just wouldn't work because there are no death saves to roll. Is that correct?
She's dead.
Okay.
Cass grabs Bluey and is just moving.
Okay, make me both athletics or acrobatics checks. You can choose as you make your way along the wall.
Fuck this up. Come on, Bluey.
Both of you have had experience with this before, so I'm going to say, considering that the two of you climbed across the tunnel, so I'm going to say you're probably in a better position than Neff was to get to scale this wall. So, Neff was...
28 athletics.
And Cass?
22.
Both of you are able to scale the wall, the 30 feet or so. And just as you get to the point where it begins to dip up and the slurry begins to slow to a stop as the forge workers, it seems, pause. For whatever reason, they have closed off the forge. And you are able to find a rest point where there is a grate in the floor just above your heads, which you could use.
What, to climb through?
To climb through if you wanted to.
Is the slurry still rising towards us?
It has stopped now. And you're also at the point...
So where we are is safe from the slurry and is currently hidden. Is that correct?
As far as you're aware. You'd probably think it's a good idea to stealth, no matter where you go in here.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Bluey's gonna try and stealthily cry then.
Cass has gone like completely, like there is just no emotion on her. She's just like a shell. She's just like going through the motions because she has to, but she is not there anymore.
Bluey will grab her arm. Just
I think I'll say, for the others who are in their Misty Stepped form, like this, you could probably have enough speed to suss out the entire tunnel system, if you wanted to look for the others. Because your movement speed is 300 feet.
I want to say that I think, acting of not knowing, I think that Brian's main goal would be to look for the contracts if they're there. Did we think they were in there? Yeah.
You guys think they're in the forge.
I think that would be his main goal. Obviously, me, I'm like, I want to, but I think Brian.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've gotten out, like some way.
Sure. So, you guys begin to search the buildings. Your search leads you back, actually, through the forge the way you came, and Allstat, you have a renewed kind of confidence thinking that in this form you could probably make it through that keyhole without triggering any alarms of any kind.
Okay.
So, you make your way up. The other side appears to be a spiral staircase, which leads up until you enter what appears to be a large personal wing. Exiting this sort of like spiraled alcove, you see a seating area, a dining table set, and a set of double doors which lead to the right of you. Passing through those double doors, you enter into a corridor and you begin to kind of explore what you quickly realize to be Taravine's personal quarters, where he lives above the forge. You go into each room. There's one room which is a storeroom. There's one room which appears to be a sleeping room for a guest. And you see the room that appears to be the study. Here, I'm going to say you need to make an investigation check to sort of follow. Oh, actually, no, you're only just looking. You can't quite go through anything. So I'll just tell you what you see out on the desk, because you can look fairly unobstructed.
Perception check, or?
Let's do... Oh, no, let's do... I don't think you need to do a check for this. It's just there, so you can just read it in your gaseous form. There is still a slight haze here, so you have to be a bit more careful in case you hear someone, but otherwise you're pretty much hidden. Sorry, I'm shaking a bit. I need to calm down. Holy shit. Anyway. Okay. In the study, you see a large desk, large enough to seat Taravine. The papers are in Infernal. I think that's Slya's realm of expertise. Slya. There are some words written in Abyssal underneath as like translations. It's very small. So you can get a general gist that there's a ledger here. This ledger seems, Slya, from what you can see, the dates on the front, to go back much further than the ones you noticed in the foreman's room, at least a year. It's a lot thicker. There's a very exquisite quill and ink set. Oh, worth mentioning, all the pages in the ledger are made of leather. And there is also a list of expected shipments, of which 2 you can read have yet to occur. A shipment from Fauntleroy in Abrella, which would occur 3 days from now. And a shipment from a place called, which you probably would have heard of before, Vasilia in the Feywild, the sister city to Viserys, on the Southern Isles, to be completed 1 week from now. Every other shipment, it appears, has already been completed, and next to each one is written in as almost like a small rune, a spider-like shape. You get the impression this is something linked to the Sisterhood. But you kind of already knew that. The only other thing you see in here is a sealed doorway with a comically large, almost cog-like spoked wheel on the front. And just from the vision of it, you understand this is a vault of sorts. And again, you guys have been keeping an eye out for any kind of magical effects in this building. So I want you both to make Arcana checks for me.
22. That math took me a bit long.
16.
16.
Oh.
Yeah.
Slya, you're kind of skirting around it and you think this is probably safe. But also you manage to just about signal your motion when you get close enough to feel the necromantic energy emanating from it. Abjuration, necromancy, at a level you haven't felt for a very long time. Not since you were met with deadly force, I think, fighting Karul. Not since you were met with deadly force in the ritual combat. Whatever spell is on this vault door, it's deadly levels of dangerous. And that alone is enough to convince you that whatever behind here is probably the key to what you're looking for.
But we can't get in because it's spell the door, right? So
It appears to be trapped. Yeah.
even for... Can I do an intelligence check just to see, like, for the smoke? Or would it be enough? Would that be
Sure,
character
make an
the
intelligence
Arcana?
check. Make an intelligence check.
16.
Okay. So you know that that now you have resistance to non-magical damage. But you get a very strong sense of Arcana from this. It's not like the alarm spell where it can be triggered and it would just be a mundane effect if you were walking through as a creature, but as a gaseous form, you have no form to be like perceived, therefore you're fine going through it. But in this case, it feels strongly magical, and you get the impression that there is something here that is strong enough still to affect you in this form. Also, you do notice that this door is quite firmly sealed, even if you were to try and go through. You can move through cracks, though, really, really fine cracks. But it's a question of whether you think you would be able to withstand the trap. Because in this form, you wouldn't be able to necessarily attempt to disable it or anything like that.
There's literally nothing we can do, I feel.
In this form, you could probably try and suss out a safe place.
What do you mean?
So, like, hunker down if you needed to regroup the others.
I don't want to know what's going to happen when all Neff is dead. Can we feel the volcano has already erupted around us, or can we feel shakies?
You can feel the shakies. It's not yet quite erupted.
I don't know what we can do.
I think in the time that you've spent traveling, I'm going to say that you would have been able to find basically a full map with Slayer's help, and having resisted the confusion, a full map of the place. Most like without yet going back into the sewers, which are filled with slurry, or at least you assume are filled with slurry, and would have been able to discover that there is a unused workroom, which appears to have bunks where Fire Genasi would sleep and take meals, except you kind of remember as you enter in the warning that TerrPg gave as he was doing his yoga. You know what happened to the last lot who missed their deadline. And here you see what happened to the last lot who missed their deadline. Where they slept taking their rest, they've been burned to the bedsheets, reduced to ash, corpses, molten metal, this room left untouched as a warning to any who might slack off.
Cool. Let's camp out in the corpse room.
Cool.
I
You can
think
camp out in
Cass
the
would
corpse room.
have sent a message to Brian.
Is that a
Would have
good
said-
idea? Okay.
Cool.
In the tunnel.
You can take a minute to transform back. If you want to try and speak to the others or contact the others, and then also take another minute to transform back, and if you needed to go and find them.
Do we want to try and have like, I don't know, the smoke clouds try and like guide back, like try and find the rest of the party and like guide them back to the empty workroom?
That's a better idea, actually, yeah.
Sure. I think you can easily enough searching the drains. Cass,
We could just
Bluey.
think that Neff has teleported out. We don't know yet.
Cass.
I think you would know. You would see Cass and you would see Bluey. You would know.
Are all of the gas clouds going? Slya? Yeah.
I feel like Slya definitely would go, just since she's got that like map thing going.
Cool. I think that Loran would have shifted back and started setting up a sanctum.
I'll stay
Yeah.
with Loran.
Okay. Knowing that, you see that Slya, you know the other cloud has to be Saraza, and Saraza, you know, Saraza knows the other cloud has to be Slya, and he kind of hovers beside you, as if to say, should I come as well?
She'll just put down.
Okay. Also, Loran, you stay back as you begin to set up your sanctum, and you know you're quite safe in this form, so long as nobody comes in to check on these. Slya, it doesn't take you very long at all to find your other two party members. Just the two of them. Make an insight check.
It's a 19.
There's something inside you.
Devastation.
Something inside you knows. But the worst part is you have no way to know what Saraza knows or not.
Slya's gonna kind of like circle them and then just, take off back towards the thing, assuming that they know to follow her.
I just want you guys to make me one stealth check. Just one.
Okay. Wait, everybody?
The whole team. And I'm really sorry. I really need the loose, so before we go on, I'm just gonna.
Okay.
Thomas, I'm so sorry.
I should have gone with my gut and saved Neff. My gut was saying Neff, but like
But Bluey would have
because of the
died as
magic,
well.
I always had a feeling she would go out on a net one.
She might have made one round.
Might have made one round. I have Neff's hair. This also has multiple stores. Have you not noticed how this entire game he's been like hair in there, hair in there, hair? He's got hair on him. He keeps people's body parts in different areas because he knows you guys are going to die at some point. He's like, I will bring you back. I will have no one foil my plans. He can bring you back. He has a lot of Neff's hair. So
No, you guys did good. Cass, you did good. That was a hard decision to make. There's no like right or wrong decision. It's hard.
Cass is destroyed.
Do you want to hear some bad news?
yeah.
Stealth check. I do at disadvantage because of my armor. My busted up, punched out armor.
Yep.
I rolled a 14 on one and a 3 on the other.
It's a group success though, so that's it.
Okay, well, 8.
8. Okay.
8.
Well, let's see what did Cass
I
get?
got 6. I got 16.
Okay. So then it's on Slya and Saz. Yeah. So it's group success. And you look like a gross kobold, so if they even find you, you should be like, rah.
Sorry.
We really need to exercise this soon.
No. Saraza. That's what
Oh,
set me off
boy.
just then. Thank you, Saraza.
Yeah. Emma, you're muted.
How you feel, Emma?
I'm just getting into the mindset. Okay.
So is it a group success?
What did you guys roll?
8.
It's a group success.
16.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Also and Slayer get advantage, just so you know.
I'm
Oh.
with Brian.
Brian's
Brian's not there.
Oh, sorry. Also and
Sarah's
Sarah's.
is there, though.
That's you.
Sarah's is there.
Sarah,
yeah,
what did you roll? Oh,
Jeff isn't.
Stop.
Great, cool. Okay, so Sarah's rolled a 17. Off you guys go.
Cool.
It's a group success, I think. You also realise that most people aren't walking around, they are hunkered down as you feel it then. A tremor, almost like an earthquake, as heat rushes up from the floor around you. You're glad you got out of the Solari tunnels when you did, because it just becomes sloshing out of the drains and at your ankles, and you have to like jump away from it because it's still quite hot and burns the top layer of your skin. And you begin to rush back. And you make it back to the workroom.
Brian and Loran look up like, hey, don't
Slayer
see enough.
Also, you see Cass comes through the sanctum, then Bluey. No, Neff.
Cass can't even talk. She just like sits with her head in her hands and she's just like rocking.
And Sarah's, it takes a minute to transform back.
I am going to wait till Saraza is solid. Then I'm going to wild shape into a polar bear and grapple him to the floor. But not in like a painful way, just like I'm holding him down, just in case. Because I know,
Okay.
I just know.
I need you. I want you to roll a dexterity contest.
15 plus. Where's polar bear?
Plus. He's probably not going
Ah, I
to.
don't have polar bear up. Hold on.
It's 12 on his dice.
Plus polar bear. 1 second.
Plus 3. He's rolled a 15. So I don't.
Hold on, I need to get the polar bear stats up. It's a 15.
15. What's the polar bear's strength?
20
Okay.
plus 5.
You're not able to grapple him, but you're able to knock him to the ground as Saraza just rushes forward and he looks at Bluey. Bluey, how do you look?
She's probably visibly struggling to look up at people.
His inkling. Okay.
But like maybe sort of clenched fists, shaking sort of thing.
Okay. Well,
Can I ask a
eyes,
question? Sorry.
His eyes pass
Is
over
Sarah's
you, Bluey. Go on.
Sorry, the gap between the hearing and the sounding makes it very difficult. Is Sarah's when he was being pinned down, is he looking, how's he looking?
So
because Cass will look up at him.
Yes. So what happens is, in the moment that Saraza becomes corporeal, just before he's hit by the polar bear, he looks at Bluey and then his eyes pass over her and fall on you, Cass. And there's a moment of betrayal on his face just before he is knocked to the ground, and he manages to, with competing dexterity, but not quite competing strength, he falls prone and just struggles up. But I think probably also would try again to keep him down.
Brian,
Brian,
let him up. Those are the first words that Cass speak, but she doesn't want Brian to pin him down.
I think Brian's going to transform back, but he's holding onto Saraza and he's just shaking. Like he's just holding onto him, like trying to stop him.
Saraza just kind of tries to throw you off, and Cass,
He's
he
like,
looks at you and he said, "I trusted you!"
Right.
And he rushes forwards. Make a strength check, Ulster.
Cass isn't going to... Oh, Ulster.
Hold on,
Ulster
I've got something I
probably
can do.
Okay.
Brian, Cass is just saying, let him go to Brian.
Why did you say that? No, where is enhance? Okay, Brian's gonna enhance ability on himself. Okay, let's try this.
Okay,
Strength,
it's really
you said?
it's like a really snap decision. So if you can do that in the same round, you can make a check. Then that's okay. But it's literally like a spur of the moment thing.
19.
13. So I think what happens is you are kind of like
Brian's stronger than the polar bear.
you are hanging on to him, but he's still moving forwards. Like you're kind of like trying to pull him back. So it's like a
I'm trying to like throw him back. Like
yeah. But as the stature is enough that he is able to sort of move forwards, even though you're pulling him back, and he's just moving towards you, Cass, and
yeah, Cass is just letting it happen.
I'm gonna keep trying to hold him back.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and get him against the wall, actually.
Mm. Also, he stops and he looks at you. Let me go.
Ulster's ready
Let
for
him
him to
go,
be
Brian.
cut. Also just looks at Cass for a second, is like angry, but he is trying to hold Sarza back because he knows that Sarza might kill Cass, essentially.
Let me go.
Don't make me. He also is going to use magic on Sarza. I can bring her back.
He looks at you, Cass, on the floor. Stand up.
She's already stood when that's been happening. When she's been telling Brian to let him go, she stood.
Also is now ignoring Cass. He's not even registering her saying that.
Brian, let him go. Please.
Nope. He's not doing it. I can bring her back.
Ulster, it's the first time Cass has like ever used his name. He's like, please.
Sarza, don't hurt anyone. He lets go.
Sarza stands there. Cass, do you remember when you made stone little trinkets for everyone?
I do.
Sarza kind of reaches into his breast pocket under his armor. The one that you made for him. Just drops it on the ground and crushes it beneath his shoe.
Cass nods.
That's what you did to her.
I know.
It's what you did to me. And he turns around.
I know.
And
if he tries to leave, I'm tackling him again.
Yeah. He doesn't try to leave. He goes as far as he can. And he just sits down and he starts punching the ground. Ulster, you were the first. Ulster and Slea, you're probably the first ones to see him when he lost Lorella. All that time ago. When he punched the ground so hard that his hands broke. But this time he stops just after the one. And he starts crying. Silently. With his head in his hands. And I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. Hey guys, so that was the first party death. How do we feel? Other than Cass, but Cass was season 1 and was immediately brought back.
Wow, okay. Sarah's, oh my god.
What a nice interlude for my holiday. My parents are going to come back. I'm just going to be like. And they're going to.
I hope that
like,
Sarah's
and they
was
won't even-
genuinely going to hurt people.
Cass wanted him to hurt her.
I'm so mad. I wasted a big wild shape. Don't tell him to transform back. He was really close to being like, fuck, Cass.
That was probably the only reason that Saraza wasn't able to get a punch in on Cass, though. So it was probably worth for the sake of Cass's nose.
No, Cass would have preferred it if he had.
No.
Oh man, dude.
Should we turn the stream off so we can cry?
Yep. So, thank you everyone who watched. Thomas, would you like to end the stream?
Thomas, would you like to sign off?
As Neff?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, hi, this is Neff talking here. Hello. I just want to say I love all of my fellow adventurers very much. They all care about me a lot. And I know I get into some situations sometimes and I get in trouble, but I hope it doesn't lead to anything disastrous that tears the party apart. But I know deep down in my heart they're all good people. And they'll all work it all out. And they'll be fine together. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again around about this time in every time zone next week for more Disappointment Crew. Episode 95, so keep your eyes peeled. If you watched to this point, thank you very much for watching. Lots of luck to all of you, and all of you adventurers too. Ciao for now. Alright, I'll sign us off.